you, and good night.
Hey, it's Anthony here from my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Rich is rolling out all of his new Hondas at 2.9% up to 60 months. Just not including the Civic Si and Civic Type R, but all the other awesome new Hondas, 2.9%. You love certified? He has the dream deal. 0.99% APR for 36 months on the 23s and 24s, Civics, HRVs, CRVs, pilots, and passports. When you think Honda, you have to visit Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter here for QC Kinetics, the nation's leader and experts in advanced regenerative medicine. Tired of arthritic pain in your knees, hips, back, or shoulders? Enhance your joints, improve your mobility, and back to doing the stuff you love with QC Kinetics. No pain, no surgery, no downtime. Call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation at 380-208-4544 or stop by and get checked out at one of their locations in Dublin or Gehenna, or visit them online at qckinetics.com/Columbus.
The Make It Ford Summer Sales Event is on, so make it your best summer ever with Ford. Now's the best time to get our best deals on a great selection of Ford trucks and SUVs, like the Ford Explorer, the Ford Bronco family, Ford F-Series, and the all-electric F-150 Lightning. These are the deals you've been waiting for, so don't wait. It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event, so make it yours. Make it now at your Ford dealer today.
Ready to be the change and have a positive impact on your community? Consider joining the Columbus Division of Police. Starting pay is $70,000 plus, growing to 6 figures after 4 years of service. We offer paid vacations, paid holidays, and health insurance. Do you aspire to complete your degree? We offer 100% tuition reimbursement after you complete your first year of service. Contact the CPD recruiting unit at jobs@columbuspolice.org or apply online at columbus.gov/government/jobs. The City of Columbus is an equal opportunity employer.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Let's get a look here at that weather impact forecast today. 84 with a few showers. Partly cloudy tonight, low 67. Tomorrow going 88 for the high. Clouds in the morning, sun in the afternoon. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Chicken wings, check. Drinks, check. Listening to the Fan, check. It must be game day.
Sponsored by Reichert Ford.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan. Saturday in Ohio. Birds are chirping. The sky is, blue, gray? I don't know. This is recorded in advance. But the most wonderful thing of all is Buckeye football. You're listening to the Toyota Fan Pregame Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Key Bank. Key Bank opens doors.
Your flagship home of the Buckeyes, the Fan. The Fan's behind enemy lines.
Sponsored by your Central Ohio Ford dealers. Visit your local Central Ohio Ford dealer today.
All right, welcome back in. We're going to go behind enemy lines this week with David Skoczen. He is Akron, their football play-by-play voice. Anthony and I had the pleasure of catching up with him yesterday. Here is his breakdown of what the Zips are bringing into the shoe today.
All right, welcome back in. It's a big game preview. It's big because the spread is big. We know that. Half a loaf on this game, Ohio State and Akron. Dave Skoczen, the man at the mic for the Akron Zips, been there for 5 years. He's done some color, done some play-by-play, and I'm going to start calling you guys the University of Moral Victories because it seems like that's what they do best lately. But, Dave, welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks for having me, and you're really not too far off on that for football. That's unfortunate, but it's true.
Yeah, so what does Joe Moorhead define as success on Saturday in your mind?
That is a great question. The thing about Moorhead, so this will be his third year, and especially the first year, I mean, this guy wore it. They went 2-10, and he was, you could see emotionally, physically exhausted at the end of every game. And he's a guy, he's not used to losing. He goes all these Power 5 places, offensive coordinator. Even when he was the OC at Akron about 15, 20 years ago, they were winning, won a MAC championship. So he's not used to having this kind of a stretch, even though it's only been a couple of years. So he's fighting it. But, I mean, there is a reality of it's a 50-point spread, right, or 50.5 or whatever it is. So I don't know. I really don't know the answer to that question. I think it's staying healthy. I think it's, some of the guys that you brought in through the transfer portal, and there's plenty of them for the Zips. How have they looked? How does everything flow with the offense as best as you can tell against a team that's probably going to contend for a national championship?
Yeah. Dave, let's talk about the most important position. Let's talk about the quarterback position for Akron. For Ohio State, they got a new toy there with Will Howard coming in from Kansas State. For Buckeye fans that aren't aware of who's going to be the guy, the QB1 for the Zips on Saturday, who are we going to be looking at leading out of the tunnel for Akron?
Ben Finley. He's a guy that had 3 years at North Carolina State. Last year he was at Cal. Combined in those 4 years, he had 4 starts. He did play considerable time in about a dozen games or so. And it's a spot where the last couple of years, and as a matter of fact, when the Zips were there 3 years ago, it was a guy named DJ Irons that was the quarterback, but he was a junior college transfer. Different type of guy. DJ would run. That was part of his game. Ultimately, it led to a lot of injuries for him. For Ben Finley, it seems like he's more of a pocket passer type guy, but he's been in the Power 5 situations. He's played in some bigger games and venues like this. So not just for this week, but as the Zips continue through the season, I think that's what they're banking on, is just kind of more of an experienced, more calming presence, I guess, in that spot than maybe what we've had the last couple of years.
Dave Skoczen with us, the play-by-play voice of the Akron Zips, as the Zips get ready to try to hang with Ohio State on Saturday. I guess the reason I asked you the question about defining success, because if he can rely a little more on his defense, like if he comes out of this game thinking, hey, we held them under 50, or we scored 10 points, or we scored a couple touchdowns, or we even scored against their backups, like I'm just wondering where he would prefer the work in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, does he rely on his defense, say, wow, we came out of the game and held perhaps one of the most talented offensive rosters to under, 50 points, or we scored on them, which is like, which side does he think he has a better chance on doing those two things?
Well, I think last year, and it looks like coming into this year, because they were able to retain a lot of guys, I think the defense is probably better than the offense. One of the things that Coach Moorhead does talk about in any game is how long are they staying in the game. And I understand this could be completely different. It could be 28-0 right out of the chute, but I think that's a good measuring stick. If it's halfway through the second quarter and it's a 1 or 2 score game, yeah, that's a good thing for Akron. That lends itself to, taking a step in the right direction. But in a normal game against another MAC team, or, maybe some of the other non-conference opponents that they have, one of the things that he said repeatedly since he's been here is you want to be able to look up at the scoreboard at the beginning of the fourth quarter and be in the game. That's the big thing for this team. So, maybe that scale slides away from the beginning of the fourth quarter when you're playing at Ohio State, but something to that effect would probably be his answer.
You talked to us about Ben Finley. Talk to us about some of the playmakers that are going to be around him. A lot of people are saying the secondary for Ohio State this year may be the best in the country, but if some guys are going to make plays, who are some names that we should be aware of?
So actually the second string quarterback's a guy named Taj Bullock, and he was used quite a bit last year in 3rd and 2, 4th and 1, that type of situation. I mean, I don't know how often that will present itself, and I don't know what it looks like because it's Ben Finley and not DJ Irons or any of the other quarterbacks that we've had the last couple of years. But Taj is a guy that transferred here from Virginia Tech, and he was used in those short yardage situations. He did start a game as the quarterback, but that didn't go real well. The offense didn't produce a lot of points. So that is one of the guys. And then the receiving core, we've got an LSU transfer, has been here for a couple of years, first team All-MAC, Alex Adams. And if he should be healthy, so Alex Adams would be one guy to circle that I would say. Bobby Golden is another who was part of the starting receiving core. Last year, and then we do have a running. I mean, like I said, you're starting to get more and more guys that, for whatever reason, work at a Power 5 or Power 4. So Jordan Simmons is coming from Michigan State. He's at the running back position. We've got a couple of guys like that, but having not seen the Zips other than in practice and how much are they really showing for the time that they let us be there. Those are some of the names I'd look for.
Visiting with Dave Skoczen. He is the play-by-play voice of the Akron Zips. Here on Rothman and Ice in the big game preview. This is a cliche. It always happens when they play an in-state school that some of the guys, they either weren't recruited or weren't good enough or whatever to play against Ohio State. Now they have a chance to not only play them, but play them in this building here on Saturday. Give me a sense of this roster, Dave, on any impactful guys from the state that will certainly relish the chance to go into the shoe.
It's interesting because Moorhead is a Pittsburgh guy. So he's got a lot of. We're Pennsylvania heavy on the transfer front. There aren't necessarily a ton of Ohio guys. One who's interesting on defense is a guy named Bennett Adler. So he went to Cleveland St. Ignatius, and I think you guys even down there are aware of what their lineage is with that program. Chuck Kyle finally retired. He was their coach for 40 years, but he's been with Akron the whole time. He's now a senior, and it's like little by little every year he plays more and more on the defensive line. But he was one of the two guys this year that Joe Moorhead took to Media Day for the MAC when we went to the Pro Football Hall of Fame for Media Day, and they gave him number 1, which is a distinguished type thing for this program. So I would say a guy like Bennett Adler from Cleveland St. Ignatius, even though you look at his career numbers, they're not huge. I think some of that's just the position that he plays, but he's probably that guy to be like, well, all right, I'm going down there. I'm going to play in the Horseshoe on Saturday.
Zooming out from this game specifically on Saturday, for the folks that like to keep an eye on, some action, as we've called it throughout the years, talk a little bit about the conference and maybe where Akron is going to stack up this year.
So Akron could be in the top half of the conference. And the unfortunate part for the Zips this year, so we go to you on Saturday. Next week is Rutgers. 3 weeks from now is South Carolina. There's a home game against Colgate in between, which you would hope they would win. But it's very realistic that this team is going to be 1-3 going into the MAC schedule. But last year, without the upgrades that they've made at a lot of the positions coming into this season, there were 2 overtime games in the MAC that Akron lost, and one of them was on the road. They've played a lot of tight games over the course of the last. So that's the biggest challenge for Moorhead is, okay, can we turn a 2 overtime loss at Eastern Michigan into a game that you actually close out and win? The Zips took Indiana to 4 overtimes last year. And that was because they missed a field goal at the end of regulation. So Akron really should have won that one. It was only like a 35-yarder. So it's converting those. Now, in the big picture of the MAC, Toledo's the name. Miami won last year, the Red Hawks. So they're one of the favorites to come back and win. But they did alter the schedule this year. They got rid of the division. So it's going to be number 1 versus number 2. And the championship game, UMass is supposedly coming in next year, which I think is interesting. They've been in for football, but they're coming in for all sports. And I think that's because they were one of the 2 independents outside of Notre Dame left in the country in FBS football. So they're trying to find a conference to hang on to so they don't get left behind with whatever's going to happen between the Big Ten and the SEC coming up. So that might be a very ambiguous answer, but I think it's the usual suspects. It's the Toledos, the Miamis, the Ohio Bobcats are your favorites. But for Akron, can you win 5 conference and get to a bowl game? I think it's plausible, but there's a psychological piece there where they just have not been able to get over the hump in individual games since Moorhead's been here in a lot of cases.
Well, they'll get their big test first, right? And then you and then you'll have to go to Rutgers, so you get a little piece of the Big Ten, and then you get back to normal, so to speak. Dave, great to talk with you. Nice little setup, and enjoy Saturday.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
There he goes behind enemy lines for this week. David Skoczen, Akron football play-by-play. Now, to when we come back, who's got the heat? Who we putting some pressure on going into week 1 of the college football season? We'll do it next. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Pregame Show right here on The Fan.
Fan traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
In the last 20 minutes, volumes have really started to pick up. 315's off-ramps to Lane Avenue, both north and southbound, are just a little more crowded now. On 315 northbound going toward Ackerman, you're also going to see a few more brake lights. Once you're off of the highway and onto those side streets, Lane Avenue, Ackerman Road, and also Neal Avenue are starting to pick up quite a bit and get pretty busy. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
It's Toyota's national sales event with more all-wheel drive choices than anyone else, including Toyota's lineup of go-anywhere, do-anything trucks, like the powerful new Tundra. Now through September 3rd, you can get a new Tundra with low-rate financing, special leases, or customer cash up to $2,000, depending on model. And the 2024 Tacoma is now arriving at your Toyota dealer with dominating power, legendary capability, and captivating style. Get details at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
A system for every home and every budget with Logan Services 55th anniversary sale. Replace your air conditioner and save up to 55% on a qualifying Trane furnace. And take action with financing. 0% APR financing for 72 months. It's hard to stop a Trane. Estimates are free and next day installation is available now. So schedule your appointment online. We're the home of fast, friendly service, Logan Services.
We're dealing at Reichert Nissan. Hundreds of Nissans in stock, on the ground, and priced to sell fast. Low lease payments on brand new Reichert Nissan Sentras, only $219 a month. Now we're really dealing. With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car. Visit the Reichert Mega Mall off 270 and 33 or shop thousands of new and certified used at ReichertNissan.com. Get the right car at Reichert. We're dealing.
With approved credit. 2024 Sentra SV FWD 36-month lease with $3,000 due at signing. Offer ends 9/3/24.
Picture this, the perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities, just all your friends, burgers and hot dogs on the grill, and a delicious, refreshing Pepsi Zero Sugar in your hand. Sounds nice, doesn't it? Burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Pepsi, the official beverage of Grill's Night Out.
Morning Juice.
Who's the shepherd? Who are the sheep in this situation? Is Ryan the shepherd? Is Will the shepherd? Is Chip? Are the sheep the players? Maybe the sheep are the fans.
Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Affinity Whole Health.
Weekday mornings at 6. The Fan.
Find Labor Day deals during our 2-day sale this Sunday and Monday only at Meijer. Find fresh from Meijer pork loin back ribs for $2.99 per pound and large whole seedless watermelon for $3.99. Plus, get Meijer hamburger or hot dog buns for your cookout for just 99 cents. And Meijer mustard or ketchup are also 99 cents each. Sunday and Monday only. Shop low prices on everything you need to celebrate Labor Day and the final days of summer in one stop at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in store or in the Meijer app.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
Experience a piece of history this September and pay tribute to those that have served in the Vietnam War. Delaware County Veterans Services invites you to visit the Wall That Heals from September 12th through the 15th at Havener Park in Liberty Township. Witness the official 3/4 scale replica of the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C. The Wall That Heals is free and open to the public 24 hours a day until 2 p.m. on the 15th. For volunteering opportunities and to learn more, please visit thewallthathealsohio.com.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for my crew at Valley Ford of Columbus. Looking for a back-to-school ride for your kid? A quality used truck for work? Well, Valley makes pre-owned vehicle shopping easy with certified pre-owned Ford Blue Advantage cars, trucks, and SUVs. All of them feature a minimum 139-point inspection, and they're backed by a 14-day or 1,000-mile money-back guarantee. Get the peace of mind with a pre-owned Ford from Valley. Great selection, great people. Keep on trucking at Valley Ford of Columbus.
Return in 14 days or 1,000 miles, whichever comes first. From original sales date and mileage on bill of sale and returned in same condition as sold. See Valley for all details.
This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
Brought to you by Valley Ford of Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Bodie Wells. Happy game day, everybody. We'll hit on a few college football scores from last night in Norman. 16th-ranked Oklahoma rolled Temple 51-3. In the Big Ten in East Lansing, Michigan State held off FAU 16-10, and Wisconsin beat Western Michigan 28-14 in Madison. As we look ahead to today, we're 30 minutes away from the noon games kicking off. We got a handful of ranked teams and Big Ten teams that'll get underway. Number 14, Clemson will face number 1, Georgia in Atlanta. Number 8, Penn State takes on West Virginia in Morgantown. Illinois State is on the road at 25th ranked Iowa. UConn is at Maryland, and Indiana State is at Purdue. And in about 4 hours, but who's counting, second ranked Ohio State will kick off against Akron at 3:30. This update is sponsored by Valley Ford of Columbus, Central Ohio's F-150 truck headquarters and official dealership of wide receiver Carnell Tate. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
How do you know it's Buckeye game day? Because I've ripped my shirt off in celebration. Do you like the Brutus tattoo on my chest? This is the Toyota Fan Pregame Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Key Bank. Key Bank opens doors.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan. As you prepare for another Buckeye football Saturday, one very important question remains. Who's got the heat?
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Let Logan Services bring the heat to your home this season. Free same-day estimates, next-day installation. Logan Services.
All right, welcome back in. Matty Ice, DeVere Posey, getting you ready for Ohio State and Akron. Kickoff is 3:30. Before we get back into some Buckeye chatter, Depot, we got to put some heat on somebody. A team, a player, whoever you want. The floor is yours. Who are you cranking the heat up on this week?
The heat to me is on Brian Kelly and those Bayou Tigers.
Okay.
And here's why, right? Like you play in the SEC, you've had the Heisman Trophy winner, you had Malik Neighbors, you had another wide receiver go to Jacksonville. The departure of great players happened at LSU, and this isn't Joe Burrow, this isn't Les Miles and Jamar Chase, Brandon LaFell, LSU. This is Brian Kelly's LSU team. This is fake Southern accent Brian Kelly.
Family.
This is hard for me to buy into. I'm sorry. I'm not like I love LSU jerseys. I love that tiger in the cage. I love the whole stadium.
Yeah.
I love gumbo. I love boudin. I love charboiled oysters, but I'm not buying into this LSU Tigers team that Brian Kelly is selling. He doesn't have that talent of Jalen Daniels, who's number 2 overall pick starting for the Commanders this year. He has to rebuild. And I think, for me, Lincoln Riley is under pressure. Absolutely, he is. But he has Miller Moss and Zachariah Branch, and I just believe this USC team will have a little bit something to say tomorrow night.
Okay. Not mad at it. The world will be watching. I know I will. Primetime slot for that game. That's going to be a lot of fun. Now, that's not rooted in maybe a little of the LSU Ohio State beef when it comes to claiming wide receiver U? Is that
no?
Okay,
no.
It's just making sure.
You know what it's rooted in?
Yeah.
How I just, Brian Kelly recruited me to Cincinnati, and then he left.
I didn't like how he left, Depot.
He left Cincinnati. That's probably where my root for B. Kelly is. But I like him. Just didn't like that move.
Yeah.
But I just don't believe.
Lot of proof. I'm not mad at it. It's a good call.
Don't believe.
You mentioned Jane Daniels, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas. Those guys were first-round picks too at wide receiver. So we shall see what it looks like. I'm putting the heat on Dabo Swinney and the Clemson Tigers. That game kicks in, about 20 minutes?
Yes, sir.
Down in hot Atlanta. I know Atlanta's absolutely on fire. Look, not necessarily to take down the dogs, but can you compete in the game with the elites anymore? That's what I want to see from Clemson, because it's been a minute. It's been a minute. Look, they haven't been terrible. They've been good.
No.
They have been good. But they were at the top of the mountain for a couple years with the Ohio States, Bamas of the world. They were up there.
Absolutely.
And since then, they've slid down just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
We don't have to talk about Dabo's style of coaching right now and how he wants to build his roster.
Blame DJ.
If that's what he wants to do, that's what he wants to do.
Yeah, blame DJ.
I want to see Depot if they can make this a 4-quarter game today.
Yeah.
Against Georgia and Carson Beck. So Cade Klubnik, Dabo Swinney, that whole brand. Are we going to get Clemson back in the mix? I'm putting the heat on Clemson this week. Who's Got the Heat is sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Let Logan Services bring the heat to your home this season. Free same-day estimates, next-day installation, Logan Services. Let's go back to Jim Knowles because a lot of people are excited to see Caleb Downs today. I know I'm one of those people. He seems like he's going to be an absolute game wrecker. But let's hear from his defensive coordinator on the process of getting him here to Ohio State.
Look to recruit someone like that who understands the game the way he does. It's like a job interview, it's like game day. So it's not, my job is to not be that rah guy and all the beautiful things about Ohio State. My job is to explain the defense in detail so that he understands that I'm going to be able to coach him and make him better, on the field and with the scheme. So it's a lot more analytical.
The dude's supposed to be electric.
Mm-hmm.
He is. His combination of the mental stuff that you hear about him as a player, but the God-given physical tools too. What he did down in Alabama, leading that team in tackles as a true freshman inside of a Nick Saban-led defense. Now you combine his skill set, Depot, with the secondary pieces around him. This definitely, I think, will be the best secondary in the country from start to finish if all these guys stay healthy.
Absolutely. I mean, you talk about Caleb Downs, and let's talk about it. I mean, his brother is Josh Downs, wide receiver for the Indianapolis Colts. He's a great player. They both played at a high school in the Atlanta area. Their father was a coach. You talk about football is family, football, faith football family, or faith family football. And that's what kind of household Caleb Downs come from. He played quarterback in high school. So when you talk about the cerebral aspect of the game, understanding the positions, understanding, where he can make an impact and where he can make plays, he comes from that type of mindset. That's his background. And I'm excited to see him put that on display for the Ohio State fan base. I mean, you don't really know what you really have until you get to see it with your own two eyes. And we're talking Tyrann Mathieu, Patrick Peterson, Charles Woodson type of DB ability here.
Some dudes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I won't be surprised. I mean, his brother was a second-round pick.
Special.
And his brother is making big plays, and they say this kid is even better at football. Yeah. So we got lucky.
Coming up next, we will set the scene for the Big Ten in our East to West segment, and then we will hit you with our final thoughts on Ohio State starting their season versus Akron at 3:30. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Pregame Show right here on The Fan.
Fan traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
Surface streets around campus and specifically Ohio Stadium are definitely picking up some volume as they have for the last half hour. We're looking at some slower conditions on Olentangy River Road between Kinnear and Ackerman. Around Olentangy and Lane, you're also going to see quite a bit more traffic right now. 315, both north and southbound, is still moving nicely. It has picked up some volume closer to the campus, but no major problems or delays to report. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
You want a sub freshly sliced to order? You go to Jersey Mike's. You want the perfect radio idea? You go to me. Like this. I'm a lone ninja warrior. By night I glide unseen across the rooftops, watching my enemies from the shadows. By day I go to Jersey Mike's, watching someone freshly slice my sub. My blade is called Shadow. His blade is a Berserba brand meat slicer. Clearly, I have much to learn about this land. Freshly sliced just for you. Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
It's Toyota's national sales event. The perfect time to extend your summer fun in the all-new, all-hybrid Camry. Now through September 3rd, choose 5.25 APR financing on any new 2025 Camry. Or you can lease a Camry LE for $319 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, Let's go places.
Taking out the trash. That's what we're all about at Bourne Brothers Waste Services. This is Justin Bourne, Zach Bourne, and Jacoby Bourne, former Ohio State football players. We are your company for all of your trash and recycling needs, providing services that include front-load containers, mini and large roll-offs, and compactors. Contact us today for the best service in town. Bourne Brothers. Bourne Brothers, the real local trash company. Taking out the trash.
Moolah, greenbacks dough, Skrilla chips, bread and mo. 2, 5, 10, and 20, 30 big ones, games of plenty. Cheddar, butter, loot and scratch, find the letters, make the match, cause there's many words for cash, no doubt, many ways to play cash word. Check 'em out. Cash word from Ohio Lottery. It's game time, yo. Cash word, it's fun to go with millions in prizes, don't you know? Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Join us for Gambling Things, Fantasy Sports, Gambling Things, and most importantly, Gambling Things. Hollywood Casinos on the Money, Sunday morning at 9.
Presented by Ohio for Responsible Gambling.
The Fan.
There's never a good time for your furnace or air conditioner to stop working, but we're honored that for the past 100 years, Atlas Butler customers have relied on us the night before Thanksgiving, the day before their wedding, and even Christmas morning for fast, convenient service. Your trust means everything. Call today, get it fixed today. That's our pledge to you.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Swimming is a great way to exercise and spend time with family and friends. Always swim with a buddy, keep an eye on children, and be prepared in an emergency if there is no lifeguard on duty. The next time you go to the pool, be water smart and know where the safety equipment is located. Complete the Ohio Department of Health Safety Equipment Scavenger Hunt and learn more about pool safety at odh.ohio.gov/swim. Have a safe swim.
We're dealing at Reichert Ford. That means we got the car you need at the price you want. But don't take it from me. Hear it from
Buckeye running back, Travion Henderson.
Reichert has what I'm looking for.
Defensive star, Jack Sawyer.
Grew up watching these guys on TV. My family's bought tons of cars for them.
With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car.
$2,500 low price guarantee.
Thousands of vehicles are waiting. ReichertFord.com.
Get the right car at Reichert.
We're dealing.
1 in 3 student athletes gets disturbing messages from sports bettors. This threatens the safety and mental health of college athletes like Tyler.
I'm a student and an athlete. I don't deserve to be threatened over my play. If you're upset about your sports bet, don't take it out on me, because I'm more than a bet.
These threats are not acceptable. Stop harassing college athletes over a bet. Learn more at morethanabet.org.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Patriot Air Comfort Systems in Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
You're listening to the Toyota Fan Pregame Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Key Bank. Key Bank opens doors.
Getting you ready for another Buckeye victory. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. It's the Fan's East to West.
All right, welcome back in. Matty Ice, Depot, DeVere Posey in the house. Depot, let's take a look at the Big Ten schedule for this week. We already got some games done, man. We could take a couple of these out the oven. Thursday night, Rutgers took care of Howard 44-7. Rutgers is one of those squads this year. People came out of the Big Ten media day saying it may be a little squad to watch out for in the Big Ten. We shall see. You know Greg Schiano, He knows what it takes to go over there. Great coach, right, to build that thing. So we may have to watch out for Rutgers this year inside the Big Ten. And you look at their schedule.
Really good back, too.
They have a nice back.
He's really good running back.
He led the league in rushing last year. Mm-hmm. They brought in Ethan Kaliak-Manis from Minnesota, so you got a quarterback that has Big Ten experience. On their schedule, Depot, no Ohio State, no Oregon, no Michigan, no Penn State. So you look at the talent that they have, and you look at their schedule, and Rutgers may be a team that could potentially rack up a decent win-loss record. So they handle business out of the gate. Thursday night also provided North Carolina taking care of Minnesota 19-7. Tough way to start for P.J. Fleck and his team. Illinois cleaned the floor with Eastern Illinois 45-0 was that score. Michigan State took care of FAU last night 16-10, and then Wisconsin took care of Western Michigan 28-14 at home. Your lineup for today inside the Big Ten, obviously, we've been focused on Ohio State and Akron. That kicks at 3:30. Penn State gets ready to kick off here in about 10 minutes against West Virginia on the road, which could be a very interesting game. Noon as well will be Iowa and Illinois State. Maryland takes on UConn. Purdue takes on Indiana State. Indiana will take on FIU. Nebraska gets UTEP. Northwestern versus Miami. Number 3 ranked Oregon takes on Idaho. Michigan at 7:30 on NBC will be at home against Fresno State. Still no word, Depot, on what Michigan is doing at quarterback. I have no idea if it's Alex Orji or if it's going to be this Warren guy. We may see both quarterbacks in the game, but Michigan is going to be interesting to see on offense what they can cook up, because I think defensively they'll be fun. I think they'll be fun on defense. But what are we getting on offense?
Absolutely. I think that's the question with the Michigan Wolverines this year when you're talking about what dynamic they're going to have at quarterback. When Alex Orji got in the game last year versus Ohio State in the second quarter for about 4 to 5 plays, and I said, someone get this kid out of the game, because he's adding a dynamic that we aren't used to, our game dynamic we're not ready for. Because when you talk about, hey, like, practicing for a zone read, we weren't thinking with that mindset when we were preparing for J.J. McCarthy last year.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. So if he can get that starting quarterback job, I'm super excited about that. And then also just defensively, you got Mason Graham, you got Will Johnson. They got a transfer Mike linebacker from Maryland, who they say this guy is the real deal, okay? And I'll come up with his name here in a little bit. Maybe Bodie can help me, but he's going to wear number 1 this year. He's going to play Mike. So defensively, this team didn't take any steps back.
No, so, you're right, man. And Mason Graham, I'll add Kenneth Grant as well. His partner right next to him down there in the middle of that defensive line. Those dudes are absolutely special. So we'll see what they bring to the table on offense today. You know, we got this lengthy Big Ten schedule now because we got 18 teams in the conference. So USC takes on Hawaii. Weber State takes on Washington. That is your Big Ten slate for today. And then we got a primetime game tomorrow. Vegas is going to be rocking because USC and LSU are in town. That game kicks at 7:30 over on ABC. Let's get back to Ohio State and our final thoughts on not only this season but what we could see today. One of the new wrinkles is Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly comes in. He used to be the head coach at Oregon, used to be the head coach at UCLA. Now he slides into that coordinator role here for the Buckeyes. And here's Coach Day talking about where he will be today when they kick off.
His plan is to be up in the box. And, I think for him, being able to get organized up there, he's got the tablet up there, he's got his call sheet up there. He can really, be clean after every series. I think that's one of the things, too, that he and I were even talking about is that when you're on the sideline and you're the head coach, you have your call sheet, but it's hard to, get your next series ready when you're doing all these other things. When you're up there, you get a desk, you can sit down, you can get your thoughts organized for the next series. You can go through everything, you can communicate well, and so that's going to be his plan. Tim Drebno will be up in the box with him, Billy Fessler, and Tony Johnson on offense.
Depot, what type of impact are you expecting from Chip Kelly?
Yeah, man, that offensive coordinator role is something that's really special, Matty. When you talk about the ability to plan drives, to window dress, to show personnel, to show routes, you say, hey, I'm just going to throw this guy across this safety's face, put this running back out in the flat, and then this time I'm going to throw a tunnel screen to the other side, and then we're going to give him the same look, and boom, then we're going to go to the flare. Then we're going to go to that crossing across the face. I just love that ability to window dress that game, that chess, that mindset that comes to that. And he's right, being able to, for Chip, who hasn't been in the booth, he's going to be up there like a kid in the back room in his computer chair with his headset playing Madden. He's just going to be picking plays, calling things just in his bag. By all means, and I'm super excited to see Chip Kelly really use all these pieces.
The run game should be special. It should be special. And you mentioned Chip Kelly and the dudes that they have with Quinshon and Travion. That combination of those three and Will Howard, because Will Howard last year he racked up 9 rushing touchdowns.
Yep.
7 of those, Depot, came in goal-to-go situations. So when they get down in that red zone area, they're going to be wearing people out. And Chip Kelly, his teams at UCLA the last 2 years led the Pac-12 in rushing per game. And so that is going to be, I think, the root of this year's team on offense. They're going to have elite playmakers on the outside. We know those dudes are going to be making a lot of noise. But I think the ability to get into games and combine what can be an elite rushing attack with a special defense, I think is going to squeeze the game for opponents, right? With their ability to move the chains, keep things rolling, and then keep that defense fresh with their ability to come off the sideline and feel good in the third and fourth quarter, I think could be a nice calling card for Ohio State here in 24.
Absolutely. And then just on another note, the Silver Bullets, I believe, they're back on paper, but today we get to see those plays where I'm going to see 91 rubbing that belly. I want to see Tua Maloau and 33 celebrating. I want to see the DBs putting people in seatbelts, doing the no good sign. I'm excited for huge defensive plays.
Yeah.
We're due for that. We've had years to where we're holding our seats. We're squeezing our legs are we going to give up a big play? None of that this year. Let's fly around, let's dominate, let's be physical. And let's see these boys go crazy.
Ohio State has not led the Big Ten in sacks since 2019.
Oh, that hurts.
Since 2019.
That hurts.
Jack, JT, Tyleek, those guys have talked about being dominant. It's time to do it. You can get the pressures, and pressures are great. But let's create some static down there in the pocket and get the quarterback to the ground. Depot, final thoughts on what you want to see today against Akron. Kickoff is only a few hours away, my guy.
I want to see big plays defensively. I want to see guys celebrating. I want to see some turnovers. And then offensively, I want to see clean operations, explosive plays. I don't want to see many penalties, not many people lining up in the wrong places. Let's play clean football and execute at a high level.
Folks, we appreciate your time. It's been a fun ride. Depot, we'll do it again next week.
Yes, sir.
Sounds like we're adding Dane Sanzenbacher to the crew as well, man. So I'm looking forward to that. Folks, enjoy today. This is one of the best things we got going in our city. We're going to hand this thing over to Anthony Rothman, Andy Katzenmoyer, and Tim May. This has been the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Pregame Show right here on The Fan.
Fan traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
Still moving pretty well. 315 is getting a little heavier around the campus and stadium area. The 315 southbound ramp right now to Lane Avenue has a little bit of a backup. If you're trying to get past that, stay to the left. You'll get around it with no problem. Once you're on campus, don't forget that Cannon Drive project is continuing and they're restricting traffic to only those with West Stadium parking passes. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
Look what we have here. It's the refreshing deliciousness of a Pepsi mini can. It's the perfect complement to any meal. The dash of indulgence your day was dreaming of. The sip that'll have you singing Pepsi.
Nope, not again, Steve. Let's take a cue from the Pepsi mini can and pack all that awesomeness you're feeling into a much smaller treat for everyone. Deal?
So, big awesomeness, smaller size. I think I've got just the thing.
Pepsi mini can, big taste.
James Laurinaitis here for my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. Green & Sons has all the Kubotas you need to tackle your land and come out a winner. They have zero-turns, skid steers, tractors from 18 to 171 horsepower, and also utility vehicles. My favorite is my RTV Sidekick. The best thing about Green & Sons is they've been family-owned and operated since 1970, and you will love dealing with the Green family and their winning team. Do what I did and check out Green & Sons located at Mount Sterling and Marysville or online at greenandsons.com for all your Kubota needs.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for my crew at Valley Ford of Columbus. Looking for a back-to-school ride for your kid? A quality used truck for work? Well, Valley makes pre-owned vehicle shopping easy with certified pre-owned Ford Blue Advantage cars, trucks, and SUVs. All of them feature a minimum 139-point inspection, and they're backed by a 14-day or 1,000-mile money-back guarantee. Get the peace of mind with a pre-owned Ford from Valley. Great selection, great people. Keep on trucking at Valley Ford of Columbus.
Return in 14 days or 1,000 miles, whichever comes first. From original sales date and mileage on bill of sale and returned in same condition as sold. See Valley for all details.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter here for QC Kinetics, the nation's leader and experts in advanced regenerative medicine. Tired of arthritic pain in your knees, hips, back, or shoulders? Enhance your joints, improve your mobility, and back to doing the stuff you love with QC Kinetics. No pain, no surgery, no downtime. Call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation at 380-208-4544 or stop by and get checked out at one of their locations in Dublin or Gahanna, or visit them online at qckinetics.com/Columbus.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
Experience a piece of history this September and pay tribute to those that have served in the Vietnam War. Delaware County Veterans Services invites you to visit the Wall That Heals from September 12th through the 15th at Havener Park in Liberty Township. Witness the official 3/4 scale replica of the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C. The Wall That Heals is free and open to the public 24 hours a day until 2 p.m. on the 15th. For volunteering opportunities and to learn more, please visit thewallthathealsohio.com.
Hey, it's Anthony here for my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Rich is rolling out all of his new Hondas at 2.9% up to 60 months. Just not including the Civic Si and Civic Type R, but all the other awesome new Hondas, 2.9%. You love certified? He has the dream deal. 0.99% APR for 36 months on the 23s and 24s, Civics, HRVs, CRVs, pilots, and passports. When you think Honda, you have to visit Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
Taking out the trash. That's what we're all about at Bourne Brothers Waste Services. This is Justin Bourne,
Zach Bourne, and Jacoby Bourne, former Ohio State football players.
We are your company for all of your trash and recycling needs.
Providing services that include front-load containers, mini and large roll-offs, and compactors. Contact us today for the best service in town. Bourne Brothers.
Bourne Brothers.
The real local trash company.
Taking out the trash.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
Brought to you by Valley Ford of Columbus.
Good afternoon. I'm Buddy Wells. We have several ranked teams and Big Ten teams that are just about to kick off right now here at noon. In Atlanta, #1 Georgia will face #14 Clemson. #8 Penn State is on the road against West Virginia in Morgantown. #25 Iowa will host Illinois State. UConn is at Maryland, and Indiana State is at Purdue. We know second-ranked Ohio State will face Akron today. Kickoff at the Shoe is at 3:30. Some other notable games to keep an eye on for the rest of the day at 3:30 as well. #19 Miami faces Florida in Gainesville. And tonight, #7 Notre Dame takes on #20 Texas A&M in College Station. And #9 Michigan will welcome in Fresno State to Ann Arbor. Those two games will kick off at 7:30. This update is sponsored by Valley Ford of Columbus, Central Ohio's F-150 truck headquarters and the official dealership of wide receiver Carnell Tate. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Oh, hi. Don't mind us. We're just sitting here talking football, waiting for the Buckeye game to start. Oh, did you want to join us? All right, then. This is the Kurgis & Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Kurgis & Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT.
Live outside of St. John Arena, here's Tim May, the Big Cat, Andy Katzenmoyer, and Anthony Rothman.
All righty, we welcome you back in. You know, if they do this thing perfectly, they'll get 16 of these. If they take the semi-long way, they'll get 17. Either way, these amazing fans and Ohio State football expects to go the distance in 2024 into 2025. We say hello and happy football season to our listeners. We say hi to the stream on YouTube, fellas, and we say hi to all of you, Buckeye Nation. It's awesome. I'm Anthony Rothman, along with the former All-American linebacker, again, Andy Katzenmoyer. Big Cat, good to see you.
Good to see you.
And the veteran Buckeye reporter, Tim May. Tim, always good to have you aboard.
Absolutely, brother. Looking forward to it, man. This is my 41st season covering Ohio State football, and college football, this is a total new college football starting right now.
Absolutely, and that's why when I talk about going the distance, it truly is a distance. We'll start with the Big Cat because there are rosters and then there are rosters, and you played on some very talented ones. In your mind, on paper, from the hype and everything you've seen, where does this one stack up on paper to you?
I'm going to say it's probably top 5 in Ohio State history as far as the potential of what they could be. The culmination of bringing lots of guys in the transfer portal and then having a great amount of depth they've returned in the defense. I'd say top 5 for sure.
Is there a certain strength of this roster?
Depth.
That's probably the best strength you could have.
And which is fantastic. The physical game, guys will get beat up throughout the season, and if you can plug and play someone who can take over and play to high capacity, that's fantastic for Ohio State.
Tim, talent is an identity in itself, but they've got to become a team, and that may take a few weeks for them before they get into Big Ten season and beyond. But is there an identity in your mind that you could predict for this team, what they will hang their hat on?
Yeah, I think it's hunger. This is like the Hunger Games in some respects because, like I've been telling everybody, I keep talking about it, and I always have to add this rejoinder. This is the most talented roster top to bottom that I've covered. Does it have the best players at every position that I've covered? Heck no, I'm sitting next to one of them right now, Andy Katzenmoyer. But you remember 98 going into that season, Andy, boy, expectations were high. Y'all's defense had a good, solid core returning. Joe Germain was finally going to be unleashed and be the starter, all these things. And then, one slip-up along the way, and it goes. Now, of course, you can have a slip-up along the way, which is really good. There is a mistake you can have during the course of your season and still get to where you want to go, which is the college football playoff. But I think the deeper rosters are going to hold sway in this thing. That's why when you look at the top of the polls, what makes sense is why Georgia's there, why Ohio State is there, Alabama, Texas, Oregon. They've got probably the deepest rosters in college football going into this. But, yeah, I think the hype is legit, and I think it's real.
It is real. I've said this, and I'll echo a little bit of what you said. Rarely do you get this much talent that also gets to add that recipe of that they've been humbled.
Yes.
And that there's a motivation that they have that's different than Georgia's. Georgia has the been there, done that motivation. Ohio State has they need to exercise some stuff this year.
Yeah, and not only that, like the transfer portal, imagine it as being a pipeline. They didn't go out and chop a big hole in the pipeline like Colorado and stuff. They put a spigot in the pipeline and got their starting quarterback, got the best safety probably in college football in Caleb Downs, got one of the better running backs in college football in Quinshawn Judkins. Seth McLaughlin started the last 2 seasons for Alabama at center. Yeah, you could talk about a couple of bad snaps he had against Michigan in the college football playoff semifinal, but that guy is a solid individual and a big dude who knows how to essay defenses when he goes to the line and make calls, etc. The last time we saw Ohio State play a real game, they had a makeshift situation at center with Matt Jones, and we saw how they couldn't block anybody when it came to Missouri. That's been rectified. So just right on down the line, Ohio State grabbed the right guys out of the portal to really put the cherry on top of this roster, in my opinion. You agree, Andy?
I absolutely agree. Yeah, like they shored up positions that they had some holes in.
Yeah.
Just like the NFL teams do in free agency.
Yeah.
It's crazy how this game is now, but between recruiting the right guys, coming in as freshmen, and then really shoring up and adding depth in key positions that they lacked last year.
Yeah.
I think this will bode well, obviously, for this year's team.
I think the interesting part about not knowing if they lacked at quarterback or not, but they know that what they have in Will Howard, presumably now, is that level of experience, grittiness, however you want to call it. Obviously, he's physical. He can run. That's an element of the quarterback position they've been clamoring for a little bit. And so that's the odd part, Tim, is how close was this race? He already had Devin Brown on the roster. He still went out and got Will Howard. And they move on from Kyle McCord because they couldn't guarantee him that job. So clearly Chip Kelly, and then getting Chip Kelly, but clearly Ryan Day felt he needed for this roster to have that trigger man, this guy.
And trigger man is the correct term because this isn't knocking Kyle McCord. He's a first-year starter last year and stuff, but Ryan Day just felt like there was so much left on the table last year from maybe playing timid for want of another term, at the quarterback position, and or not making a play when it presented itself from the standpoint of scoring more touchdowns, which is what Ryan Day is all about, is TDs. But the point is, that's why he had that conversation with Kyle McCord at the end of the year, and it didn't sit well, obviously, with Kyle, that he was going to open this back up, and not only that, look in the portal, and they went and got this guy. The interesting thing about Will Howard, in my opinion, from when I first saw him, now I watched a bunch of video of him, obviously, playing at Kansas State, but when I first saw him in the spring, in spring practice, to now, he is much better than he was then. He's trimmer. He's 6'5", 235 pounds, runs 22 miles an hour, and he's become a better passer, in my opinion, a more audacious passer. But then, boy, when he gets out on the edge or gets into the middle and sees green artificial turf, he's going to run. And as Chip Kelly pointed out, we talked about this on your show, AR, he's the kind of guy that may, instead of getting 5 or 6, he may get 15 or 16, because he is not a guy that an arm tackler is going to bring down easily, and he sort of is built for when he gets out on the run, running through people. Yeah. And that's going to be interesting, because you don't want him doing that a lot. You know, we saw on the other night with North Carolina losing their starting quarterback in the opener. You don't want to do that. But you want him to run when it presents itself, because there are so many other weapons here that will be unleashed.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the one part. It was never, even if you go back to C.J. Stroud, it was never about trying to turn him into a runner. It was just about
run a little bit.
The instinctual part of it, the willingness
How
to
many
want
times did these pregame shows did I bring that up? Just run a couple of times, man.
Right.
When you see it, go get it.
Yeah.
I always call it kind of, and it seems like Will Howard is the go-get-it guy when he needs it.
Go-get-it guy.
And certainly they'll be checking that box. As we continue, we'll have all sorts of breakdowns today. Of course, next we'll visit with the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels. Happy to have him aboard again this season, of course. And Andy mentioned it. If the biggest talent is depth, we'll ask Paul, how deep is this roster? We got a lot going on today. Your kickoff forecast sponsored by Buyers Auto. Come see why it's better to buy from Buyers. Okay, I'm not here to tell you it's not going to rain. I'm not here to tell you that it's going to delay the game. But there is a coin flip chance, it feels like, that we could get into a little bit of precip today with the possible thunderstorm. Now, it's humid. We're going to top out about 84 today, but it's going to feel a lot sweatier than that. So if you're coming down, I mean, even the great tough Andy Katzenmoyer brought his umbrella today. So maybe follow his lead. We'll all get under his umbrella, but
always follow the big cat.
It does feel like there is a chance that we could get a little precip, but it may not be until around game time. We'll come back with the voice of the Buckeyes and ask him, how deep is this roster? This is the Kurgis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show. Remember, they don't get paid unless you get paid, right here on the Fan.
Fan traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
Action is picking up on the side streets, the surface streets around the stadium specifically. Woody Hayes is pretty slow from Olentangy all the way over to Tuttle Park Place. Lane Avenue is crowded from Neal Avenue to Olentangy. Ackerman Road is starting to see a little bit of a backup as well around that parking lot. 315 north and southbound, just a little bit of moderate traffic as you approach the Ackerman and the Lane exits. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
At Toyota's National Sales Event, you can choose from more hybrid and all-wheel drive vehicles than anyone else, including the best-selling RAV4. Now through September 3rd, choose 4.99 APR financing on a new 2024 RAV4 or RAV4 Hybrid with approved credit through TFS. Excludes RAV4 Prime, or you can get a great lease deal on RAV4. Plus, you get 2 years no-cost maintenance. Get details at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Kurgis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys. We've helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Kurgis & Associates. Attorneys who care.
Tailgating this weekend? Schmitz Catering has you covered. Schmitz will cater your neighborhood party or company tailgate and handle all the heavy lifting. They can even grill for you at your location. Schmidt's is the perfect way to celebrate this football season with their delicious Bahama Mamas, sausages, cream puffs, and more. Let Schmidt's bring their house to yours. Check out their full catering menu at schmidthouse.com. Why tailgate when you can Schmidtgate? Football season is here, and so is tailgating season. Are you ready? If not, let Columbus Car Audio and Accessories help you get the latest and best accessories for your ride. Upgrade your sound system so everyone around can hear what team you're rooting for. Add mobile video and never miss a game on the road. Add style and privacy with window tint, and avoid scraping ice this winter by adding a remote starter. Choose Columbus Car Audio and Accessories when it comes to customizing your ride. Morse Road near Easton, Main Street in Reynoldsburg, or columbuscaraudio.com.
We have a lot of football happening. I'm here to help. Set your radio preset to the Fan. Very good. Now set a second one to ESPN Columbus. It's the HD2 button. Lastly, go to the Fan's HD3 and save the Fan 3. Crisis averted. You're welcome.
Bobcat Enterprises is your family-owned partner for landscaping and construction projects. Bobcat Enterprises sells and services a full line of Bobcat equipment, including compact track loaders, excavators, tractors, and more. Plus, Bobcat rents compact equipment and attachments. With Bobcat, you can rent the machine and own the results. Keep your business local. Stop by Bobcat Enterprises in Hilliard, Reynoldsburg, or Zanesville, and find current specials and our full line of products by visiting bobcatent.com today.
At KeyBank, we know a small moment like,
whoa, my kid's got a serious backhand,
can lead to an even bigger question like,
tennis campus how much?
And that's the type of moment where we'll meet you to help you build a savings plan for expenses big and small so your money can make money. Mike, how's that sound?
Sounds like match point.
Sounds like love.
We could serve up tennis puns all day.
For every financial need, we'll meet you in the moment. KeyBank opens doors. KeyBank member FDIC.
Football is built on tradition, and so is the Hinderer Motor Company. This is Justin Hinderer. With a lifetime powertrain warranty on every vehicle purchase, you know you're getting a relationship that's built to last. Need service? Our Carvenience service takes care of everything, from picking up your vehicle to dropping it off when it's done, leaving you with a rental car in between. And with 4 dealerships and a collision center, Hinderer Motor Company is your one-stop shop for all things automotive. Visit HindererMotorCompany.com. We love what moves you.
The delicious ice-cold taste of Dr. Pepper has a lasting effect on people. Lindsay from Sacramento said,
Pro tip, 40 degrees is the perfect temperature for an ice-cold Dr. Pepper.
Why is 40 degrees the perfect temperature for Dr. Pepper? We brought in Sue from Duluth, Minnesota to tell us.
Oh, yeah, I know a thing or two about cold. Oh, that right there is the perfect kind of ice cold for Dr. Pepper. I'd share that with my friend Nancy. She likes Dr. Pepper, too, you know. My coldest...
All right, that'll be all, Sue. Having a perfect temperature for your Dr. Pepper? It's a Pepper thing. Inspired by real fan posts.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Good morning. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud. Today we're looking at a cold front sliding on through the area. Clouds and a few showers possible. If you are heading off to the OSU football game at 3:30, there could be a few spot showers. 84 for the high today, 67 tonight, and then mostly sunny on Sunday with a high of 88. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Got your game face on? I mean, have you actually painted your face? Good job, buddy. It's game day on The Fan.
Sponsored by Reichert Ford.
The Fan. You're listening to the Kurgis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Kurgis and Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT.
Every game, every season, your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. It's time for the Big Daddy Report with the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels.
Sponsored by The Waterworks, Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
All right, it's not Buckeye football without this man, the best voice in the country, best voice in college football. He's our friend Paul Keels. Good to have you, my man.
I don't know how to live up to that now. Thank you, Anthony.
You can, my friend, for sure. We just talked about this roster. You know, I asked Andy and Tim both about identity of this team and talent and all that, where it stacks up. And, you know, it's more of an intangible, right? It's the hunger of this team. It's the talent and the depth of this team. give me a little take on how deep you think this roster is, and maybe in some places where it's questionable.
It would seem that it is pretty deep across the board. I know that early on, especially in the spring, Ryan Day talked about having only 4 scholarship running backs was a little bit of a concern, and really the lack of multiple linebackers that have played a lot of significant snaps. So that could possibly be an area. But when you think about what they had to do with the offensive line early in camp, with guys running with the ones that normally wouldn't, with the wealth of talent they have on the defensive line, seemingly a lot of depth in the secondary, this would seem to be a team that not only has a lot of depth, but ideally, knock on whatever, has the depth to go into a deep season.
Yeah, I'm like Jim Knowles was talking about when I asked him about it a couple of weeks ago.
You asked a question?
Yeah, I know. You have to stack them sometime, man. There's so much you want to know, and one question at a time stinks. But I digress. He talked about the lack of maybe proven depth, for example, at safety. He might have the 2 best safeties in the country as a tandem, but then after that, Malik Hartford, some of these guys have really got to come along and stuff. And, it's interesting today because, Cody Simon's been a little banged up off and on during preseason camp, and like you just pointed out, there's a chance they could have a couple of starting linebackers or a couple of linebackers playing today who've not really started at linebacker.
Yeah.
And that's where, this defense, when you do the deep dive on it, it's going to be interesting. But, boy, when you talk about Sonny Styles, right, can Jim Knowles say anything any more rosier about Sonny Styles, for example, than what he has said over the last couple of years, but even in preseason camp? This guy has really taken to the switch to linebacker.
Well, I think we were all curious to see when Sonny Styles first got here. Remember, he got here as a 17-year-old that should have been a high school senior.
Right.
But would he grow into the linebacker spot, and would they make that move? He's just got such natural gifts. And, he seems to be one of those guys, once now, after a couple of years, knowing where he's supposed to be, having a better idea of what Jim Knowles wants from him, a guy that just seems to have the ability to be a playmaker. So, you've got Gabe Powers, who we've seen do a lot of things on special teams, and you've heard a lot about Garrett Stover during his recruitment. So hopefully it's
Arvell Reese,
who at times has shown you some flashes of a guy that can do some things. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
So there's obviously been a lot of talk since Missouri game, the hype, the build-up, anticipation. What are 2 or 3 things you're most looking forward to seeing in this game today?
Andy, what Ryan Day was talking about this week was being the hardest playing team on the field. To us lay people, can we see that? Will we feel that? Will we be able to notice that they are the hardest playing team on the field? And also his other mantra he has is leave no doubt. And you would think that a game like Missouri would still burn in people's craw, the way that played out, just, up until the end. Even though they weren't playing well, it was still a game they could have gotten. And, there's a lot of these players that there's things that they've not been able to get. Gold pants, Big Ten championships, obviously a national championship. So that seemed to be the rallying cry for the guys that came back. But to see if they show to those of us that don't know any better other than just being fans watching that they are the hardest playing team on the field, that's the thing kind of anxious to see.
Cool. Yep.
Paul Keels with us, voice of the Buckeyes. We get you ready for the opener, Ohio State and Akron, 3:30 kick here on the Fan. So there was a quarterback battle, air quotes. It felt like a foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
I don't want to disrespect Will Howard, though. Supposedly he did have to take command, and Ryan Day did say he took command of this thing. You've talked to Coach Day. You've had him on your show. What did that mean to you when he said he took command of this fall camp?
It's one of those, Anthony, that you can hear the words, but when you see how Ryan Day responded to it, you get the feeling that Will Howard did what needed to be done. Not only did he change his body, but he's a guy that's come in and immersed himself into all of the nuances of what a quarterback has to do. And a lot of that has to do with how he rubbed off on his teammates, how they reacted to him. One of the great things, if you think about Troy Smith, when he had his great Heisman Trophy winning season, but even before that, when Troy was first put into the starting lineup, you could tell he made players better around him, and that's what you hope Will Howard is able to do.
Yeah, it's interesting because, Devin Brown is competing. Devin Brown, though, has only had one start, and it was a semi-disaster with the way the offensive line played. And then, of course, he had to limp out of that game. I'm talking about the Cotton Bowl loss to Missouri, 14-3. But I get the sense Devin Brown is in it to stay, at least, obviously for this season he has to and stuff. But we all know. Even Chip Kelly brought it up about Cardale Jones the other day. When we're talking to him, you got to have depth at that situation. And I'm talking about a quarterback. And the interesting thing to me about camp is it seems we have witnessed a rise of Julian Sayin. Would you agree with that?
That's what it sounds like from
the freshman
from what we've heard. Yeah, and all you have to do is look back to the Cotton Bowl. All of a sudden, Lincoln Keenholz is thrown in when he really hadn't taken many meaningful snaps. So the depth is going to be crucial. Devin Brown is a key piece of that. And Tim, I think you're right. A guy that is not bolted to go someplace else. He's hung in there. He's a guy that in small doses has shown what he can do as a running threat and throwing a little bit. Yeah, some of it in mop-up duty, but it is important that Ohio State knows that they've got somebody else they can go to if need be.
Yeah. Little different pregame routine, right? We're used to seeing the walk from the Blackwell. The guys are going to stay downtown.
Yeah, he kind of let that out the other day.
Yeah, he did. I said it on my show. It was like, there you go. There's a little throwaway on the coach's show, but downtown, everybody in sweats. The suits and ties go away. Do you ever get a feeling on? I know he put it in charge of the team. That felt like the team wanted to be this way.
Player related, because when the times that we would get to go on the charters, they would wear sport coats and all of that. That lesson eased up a little bit, but I think the great thing what Ryan Day and his staff have done, and they're not the first to do it, and certainly won't be the last. Listening to the players, getting their input, what makes them more comfortable, what do they want to do? I think it'll take away some of the sizzle of people watching them coming in to the stadium with all of their outfits, but it's a nice unifying thing.
It's funny, but I was told this a few days ago that they made this change, and it reminded me of that's what we would stay downtown.
Yeah,
and I remember we would come up Fourth and then come through campus and just we wouldn't do skull session, but we would just go right to the field. And really, for me, and I feel like a lot of teammates, that time away was good for us to kind of get away from all this, and then to then be reintroduced to it the game day. Like it brought an energy into us that is extremely unique, and I've never really had it at any other level of football. So it's cool. I'm glad they're doing it.
Yeah, change is sometimes good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's part of the Ryan Day shakeup since the Cotton Bowl, when you think about it. Bringing Chip Kelly in, these transfer portal dudes, a little bit a totally different kind of team that seems so mature, so grown up in so many areas, with like Jack Sawyer, JT Tuimoloau, and now this little change. Ryan Day gets it. Some things had to maybe change to have that big finish you want, because that's really what's, if you want for one of another term, really killed them the last several years is not finishing.
I think that's how coaching has changed. Coaches have realized they can't put a round peg in a square hole. They can't be the dictator. It can't be my way or the highway, and that's what Ryan Day seems to really really show with how they've done some of these subtle changes.
Well, he hasn't had to talk about last year anymore now, right? The game's going to happen, and he's had to walk that tightrope, Paul, all summer, which, hey, you got to wear that. But how do you feel like he's acknowledged what hasn't happened versus keeping his eye on the prize?
Probably the fact that the leave no doubt thing, I think, has a lot to do with that, Anthony. But also, one of the other interesting comments this week is respect every opponent. And, people want to talk about the Michigan game, coming up at the end of the year. They got to beat Michigan. Well, there's a lot of games between now and then. And while they talk about in some of these non-conference games, it's more about themselves than the opponent, but also respecting the opponent and knowing they've got to go out and do what it is they need to do, be ready for what the opponent's going to throw at them to be able to take their steps.
All right. Paul Keels, sponsored by the Waterworks Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. We know you got an addition to your crew today, my former colleague and friend Clay Hall. I know that Matt Andrews will be back here.
We'll be thinking about Matt, and he'll be back.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He'll be back. All right, guys,
wish
pleasure
you a lot
to
of
see
good
you.
luck today.
All right.
Thank you. That is Paul Keels, the voice of the Buckeyes, today on the show. As we come back, we'll talk about which Buckeyes could shine today in the opener and how that will play out. Game day coverage is sponsored by Reichert Ford on the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Fan traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
As we get closer to kickoff, we also see a little more traffic on those roadways. 315 north and south is going to get crowded as you head toward the Ackerman Road and the Lane Avenue exits specifically. If those exit ramps are just a little slower than usual, Ackerman Road, pretty crowded as you try to get into the parking area up there. Now, down closer to the stadium on Lane Avenue, it's very slow between Neal and Olentangy River Road. Woody Hayes is pretty slow between Olentangy and Tuttle Park Place as well. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on the Fan.
We're dealing at Reichert Ford. That means we got the car you need at the price you want. But don't take it from me. Hear it from
Buckeye running back, Travion Henderson.
Riker has what I'm looking for.
Defensive star, Jack I grew up watching these guys on TV. My family's bought tons of cars for them.
With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car.
$2,500 low price guarantee.
Thousands of vehicles are waiting. ReichertFord.com. Get the right car at Reichert. We're dealing.
You want Jersey Mike's signature sub? You get a number 13 original Italian. You want a dramatic radio idea? You get me. Like this. I'm the 7th-string quarterback, and the other 6 quarterbacks go down. The coach yells, DeVito, you're in. The crowd is worried until I throw a touchdown. But the other team is celebrating. Apparently, I threw the Jersey Mike's number 13 original Italian I was eating on the sidelines. Whoops. The number 13 original Italian, Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Taking out the trash. That's what we're all about at Bourne Brothers Waste Services. This is Justin Bourne,
Zach Bourne, and Jacoby Bourne, former Ohio State football players.
We are your company for all of your trash and recycling needs.
Providing services that include front-load containers, mini and large roll-offs, and compactors. Contact us today for the best service in town. Bourne Brothers.
Bourne Brothers.
The real local trash company.
Taking out the trash.
30% of D1 athletes report betting-related threats and harassment after games. This threatens the safety and mental health of students like Jade.
I'm a college athlete, and I'm more than a bet. When you threaten my life and my family because you lost money, it really scares me.
These threats are not acceptable. Stop harassing college athletes over a bet. Learn more at morethanabet.org.
Bobby Carpenter once sold workout equipment on QVC Canada. There's no joke here. That actually happened. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
During Toyota's national sales event, you can choose from more hybrid and all-wheel drive vehicles than anyone else, including the family-size Highlander. Now through September 3rd, get any new gas-powered 2024 Highlander and get $1,000 APR cash or $500 on Highlander Hybrid when financed with approved credit through TFS. Plus, every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, 2 years no-cost maintenance. Get details at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Your car needs a new battery. That'll be $19,000.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a second opinion.
You wouldn't accept that quote, so why accept this one from that other company?
$19,000 for a new sewer line.
I'm going to call the waterworks instead.
Facing an expensive sewer repair? If another company's quote is way more than expected, call the Waterworks for a second opinion. We have the most experienced drain techs in Central Ohio. Call 614-232-2222.
Cash, moolah, greenbacks dough, Skrilla chips, bread and mo. 2, 5, 10, and 20, 30 big ones, games aplenty. Cheddar, butter, loot and scratch, find the letters, make the match, cause there's many words for cash, no doubt, many ways to play cash word. Check 'em out. Cash word from Ohio Lottery. It's game time, yo. Cash word, it's fun to go with millions in prizes, don't you know? Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone from my crew at Valley Ford of Columbus. Looking for a back-to-school ride for your kid? A quality used truck for work? Well, Valley makes pre-owned vehicle shopping easy with certified pre-owned Ford Blue Advantage cars, trucks, and SUVs. All of them feature a minimum 139-point inspection, and they're backed by a 14-day or 1,000-mile money-back guarantee. Get the peace of mind with a pre-owned Ford from Valley. Great selection, great people. Keep on trucking at Valley Ford of Columbus.
Return in 14 days or 1,000 miles, whichever comes first. From original sales date and mileage on bill of sale and returned in same condition as sold. See Valley for all details.
This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
Brought to you by Valley Ford of Columbus.
Good afternoon. I'm Buddy Wells. We have several ranked teams and Big Ten teams that got underway at noon. Let's run through all the scores here. In Atlanta, number 1 Georgia against number 14 Clemson. That game is scoreless. In Morgantown, number 8 Penn State faces West Virginia. That game is also scoreless. And Iowa City, number 25 Iowa is facing Illinois State. The Hawkeyes lead that game 3-0. UConn is at Maryland. The Terps lead that game 14-0. And Indiana is at Purdue. The Boilermakers Boilermakers lead that game 7-0. All those games there are in the mid to late first quarter. We know second-ranked Ohio State faces Akron today. Kickoff at the Shoe is at 3:30. Some other big games later on today at 3:30. Number 19, Miami faces Florida in Gainesville. Number 7, Notre Dame takes on number 20, Texas A&M in College Station. And number 9, Michigan will host Fresno State. Those two games kick off at 7:30. This update is sponsored by Valley Ford of Columbus, Central Ohio's F-150 truck headquarters and the official dealership of wide receiver Carnell Tate.
Are you ready for another Buckeye victory? Because we sure are. You're listening to the Kurgis & Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Kurgis & Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HEARD. That's 614-GOT-HEARD.
Your flagship home for Ohio State football. The Fan. He's so money.
Sponsored by Kemba Financial Credit Union.
All right, welcome back to the Kurgis & Associates Fan Tailgate Show. Anthony Rothman, Andy Katzenmoyer, and Tim May. Yes, the ponchos are out. The umbrellas are up. We got a little bit of a drizzle here, but better now than later, hopefully. Game time in 3 hours. He's So Money, sponsored by Kemba Financial Credit Union. We alluded to this earlier in the show about camp beginning with Sonny Styles taking reps with the starters alongside Cody Simon. Moved C.J. Hicks to the backup spot. Worked Gabe Powers with the second-team unit. Tim, there is a little bit of thought, nothing confirmed just yet, but maybe in the next half hour, that we do have a couple of guys that are a little tweaked, and they may protect them today.
Yeah.
Is a linebacker potentially one of them?
Yeah, I mean, I think, we've been hearing for a little while that Cody Simon might, we'll see where it goes, but Cody Simon might have to sit this one out because, this is, you don't blow your wad on Akron when you're a 50-point favorite and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you let a lot of guys play. They're going to play a lot of guys to get today anyway. But we'll see, once they get closer to game time, who they declare is in and out. But, the big talk has been about Orville Reese in that Mike linebacker spot during the preseason. And also their cross-training. James Laurinaitis, first-year full-time linebackers coach, has done a really good job, I think, of bringing a lot of guys along. You know James Laurinaitis, Andy, and the way they play defensive football now isn't like the old days where this is the middle linebacker, that's the will linebacker, that's the strong side linebacker, the Sam. They mix and match a lot, and it's a lot on the linebacker's plate. But I think they've got good athletes there, along with guys who like to hit people. And C.J. Hicks, do not discount that name.
No, it's interesting. He's a 5-star kid. He was the number 1 backer in that class coming out in 2022. So
some guys, it takes a while to get it.
Well, he's going to be itching to get it and be a part of this unit. I'm glad you mentioned Orville Reese because, at 6'4", 240, he's going to be a tough guy to miss. But I wanted to ask Andy about that transition of Sonny Styles, moving from safety to linebacker. Your take on that, the challenges of that, what he will only know when he experiences it, how much could they simulate for him, what is he ready for, and what does he need to kind of wait to see?
Well, I guess the advantage he has is he's played on the field. So he understands, and, his role at Ohio State has always been kind of that roll-down guy from the secondary. But it's a little different when you have to play linebacker because you're communicating and orchestrating the front as well as then pushing signals to the back end. They had to know that was going to be a learning curve for him. So he may be coming out in the game a step slower, half step slower, just based on communication. But again, with Akron and I'd say the
Western Mesh, and
I'm saying like there's gonna be some time where they can kind of run some basic stuff and not have to throw a bunch of curveballs at him or audibles and changes and all that kind of stuff. So he should be okay in the end, but it's good. It's definitely gonna be a learning curve.
Yeah, and Jim Knowles and Coach Laurinaitis have both made the point that the fact that the time he spent in the secondary at safety has helped him understand what's going on in the front 7 or front 6, you know what I mean? And
the big picture.
Yes, and like they said, if anything, they've had to slow him down in the sense of being a little impetuous there at linebacker because you've got like maybe a split second longer to make sure you know what you're seeing before you go sick them and stuff. Take care of your initial responsibility, your initial gap responsibility on any play because, any play could be a run play, let's face it, but then go do your job and then go to the football, and that's what he and C.J. Hicks excel at. I mean, I would be surprised to see Sonny Styles and C.J. Hicks on the field at the same time today on the edge. You know what I mean? And maybe Arvell, because they've got all these mix and match things they think they can do with that front 6, front 7 from a pass rush standpoint of like walking C.J. Hicks up to the edge or walking Sonny Styles up to the edge, because they're both really good at getting into the backfield to the quarterback. C.J. Hicks may be better than anybody, really, in that regard from the linebacker group. So we'll see what kind of games they play today against a transfer quarterback.
The other guy that maybe isn't a household name yet but has had a really good offseason is Caden McDonald, one of the backup defensive linemen and defensive tackles here. And so, Tim, what do you hear of the talk about him behind Tyleek and Ty Hamilton?
Well, exactly what you just said. He's really come on. I mean, he got in at fullback the last time you saw Ohio State play. But because, that little boom action they were trying to get out of Caden Curry and even him, in the backfield. This is a team that refuses to name it, to have a fullback on the roster, yet they're always trying to figure out ways to have a fullback.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, if you watch the spring game, the first formation they jump into is robust T. The famous Woody Hayes red zone formations or inside the 10 formation. So, but what you're hearing is this guy's really come on, along with Hero Canoe and a couple other guys, because clearly they need depth in that defensive line. In that defensive line room to step up and play big time. They think these guys are really doing it. And this is where you really like this team, man. I really like this team on the offensive line. At least the first 5 or 6 are going to put out there. And then on the defensive line, the reason is, you've got J.T. Tuimoloau and Jack Sawyer, the studs, for one of another term, on each end.
Right.
But the two ties, man, TNT, Ty Hamilton and Tyleek Williams, seasoned veterans who are big and strong, understand the game. And, Ty Hamilton really came on as the year went on last year. Tyleek Williams is a get-up-the-field, first-step kind of dude that can create havoc there in the middle of the field. So they really like, especially those first 2 guys at defensive tackle.
Yeah, to go back to what you said before in your previous statement about really having the linebackers be such good athletes, you can be too fast.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that, that can put you in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
So to see how they can mesh with the front, make sure that whether there's any kind of motion or, if when you're the backside linebacker, you cannot be that guy flying across the field. You have to be tempoed and stay behind the ball.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to watch today.
Yeah.
Sure.
And, one of the great quotes Jim Haycock ever gave me about you was the interesting thing about Andy Katzenmoyer is at the end, you watch any video of y'all's plays, at the end of almost every play, you were either in the middle of the frame or coming into the frame. You understand what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
On the video screen. And these guys have that ability, but like you said, you got to take care of your initial responsibility. Then you got to, you're used to running, man, when you're defensive back. The breakdown situation for like a Sonny Styles.
Well, normally you're forced.
Yeah.
Or you're usually not the backside pursuit player.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And any defense these days, for a long while now, the will linebacker is set up to be the star, really. I mean, the tackle star, let's put it that way. And so you got to be to make it really work, you got to be in your place. But teams are so multiple now with what they do on offense. It's not even like your days, man. It's not, they're going to run the ball 3 out of 4 times. Akron's probably not going to do that, but you don't know with Joe Moorhead. Last time he was doing this stadium, he ran the same play in a different version 3 times for touchdowns against Ohio State's defense when he was the offensive coordinator at Oregon. Everybody remembers that game.
Yeah.
So you got to be ready. But yeah, I think Sonny takes after his dad a little bit, though. I mean, I think there's some natural ability instincts there when you play linebacker, which comes to play. Lorenzo Styles was a really good. Matter of fact, he was your predecessor.
He was. He was good, man.
Yeah,
he was a real deal.
At middle linebacker, Mike linebacker. So that's what's going to be interesting to watch. Is kind of like, even though this is a veteran team, Sonny Styles has been around for 3 years now. But like as AR pointed out, he came in as a 17-year-old, but he's now a 19 or 20-year-old, and they're expecting him to really play like that.
Right. Absolutely. Ohio State fans are expecting this offensive line to come together. Something that created depth in fall camp was something they never would have predicted, but now they're thanking. We'll talk to the former All-American Jim Lachey when we come back. This is the Kurgis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show. Remember, they don't get paid unless you get paid right here on The Fan.
Fan Traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
Overall, moving well. 315 north and southbound are about moderate volume between Ackerman and Lane Avenue. Nothing unusual for a game day. Those off-ramps are starting to get a little more crowded. On the surface streets, you'll definitely see some traffic on Lane, also Ackerman, Neal Avenue just a bit, Olentangy River Road also. And keep in mind, if you're driving around the stadium, they just opened the doors at St. John for the Skull Session. You're going to see an increase in pedestrian traffic in that area as well. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
At Byers Auto, we've been football fans since 1897, back when tailgates had actual tails. Our legacy of supporting our local team is as strong as our commitment to providing exceptional vehicles. While we're known for our new cars, we also offer a variety of pre-owned vehicles that meet our rigorous standards. Our friendly staff is here to help you find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and budget. Visit us in person or shop online at buyersauto.com. Come see why it's better to buy at Byers.
Picture this, the perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities, just all your friends, burgers and hot dogs on the grill, and a delicious, refreshing Pepsi Zero Sugar in your hand. Sounds nice, doesn't it? Burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Pepsi, the official beverage of Grills Night Out.
Our nation's veterans put everything on the line to defend our nation. They're heroes. And when they need help, Congressman Mike Carey fights for them because he cares about America's veterans.
My name is Thomas Rand, and I put my life on the line serving our nation in Vietnam. But when I needed help with an outstanding disability claim, the VA wasn't there for me. But Congressman Mike Carey had my back. Because of his hard work, my claim was approved, and I got the help I needed. I'm thankful for Congressman Carey. He cares about our veterans.
Mike Carey will always fight to help our nation's heroes. If you're a veteran who needs help navigating government services, programs, and grants, call Congressman Mike Carey's office at 614-927-6902 or visit carey.house.gov. Paid for with official funds from the office of Mike Carey.
The Buckeye Show.
Yes, the CJ rookie cards are going like crazy.
He's single-handedly saved Panini's football products for 2023.
The Buckeye Show.
Presented by Coors Light and sponsored by CareSource.
Weeknights at 6 on The Fan.
It's time for huge summer savings at Honda Marysville. Now get 2.9% APR for 60 months on any new 24 or 25 Honda. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. And don't forget our $39 oil change special, where we'll get you in and out in an hour, or it's on us. It really is the perfect time to get to Honda Marysville, where great summer savings are closer than you think.
With approved credit, must finance 80% of MSRP, cannot combine offers, expires 9/3/24.
Kemba Financial Credit Union pays you to save. Get a $300 bonus with a new money market account and earn a premium interest rate on your money. It adds up to big-time savings for your goals and dreams. Visit Kemba.org to check our rates and learn more. Restrictions apply. Bonus requires Advantage status and $10,000 minimum balance be deposited in the first 30 days and maintained to qualify for a $100 bonus at 90 days and $200 at 180 days after opening. Federally insured by NCUA. Offer ends September 30th.
We're dealing at Reichert Nissan. Hundreds of Nissans in stock, on the ground, and priced to sell fast. Low lease payments on brand new Reichert Nissan Sentras, only $219 a month. Now we're really dealing. With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car. Visit the Reichert Mega Mall off 270 and 33 or shop thousands of new and certified used at ReichertNissan.com. We're dealing.
With approved credit. 2024 Sentra SV FWD 36-month lease with $3,000 due at signing. Offer ends 9/3/24.
Your local Rite Aid might be closing, but don't worry. It's easy to transfer your prescriptions with GoodRx. First, check prices at GoodRx.com or on our app. Then show your coupon to the pharmacist. It's that simple. GoodRx can save you up to 80% on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, GoodRx is free, and it works whether you have insurance or not. Download the app or visit GoodRx.com today. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
It's Enjoy all the football this weekend, but remember to join us for Reaction Monday.
Sponsored by the Roofing Guys.
The Fan. This is the Kurgis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Kurgis and Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT.
If you're listening to the Buckeyes, you're listening to us. Your home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan. It's time to check in with Buckeye color analyst and president of the Large Hand Society, Jim Lachey.
Sponsored by Schmitz. Why tailgate when you can Schmidtgate?
All right, he's the color analyst for the Ohio State Buckeyes here on The Fan. He's our friend Jim Lachey, the former All-American and Super Bowl champ. Jim joins us from the booth. Good to have you, my friend.
Good to have you, too. Good to see you back, Anthony. How you feeling?
Thanks, buddy. Feeling better. I appreciate that very much. This offensive line, Jimmy, how much better of a position are they in right now than before you'd even say preseason camp? What leap did they make for you?
Well, I think they got a chance to play together a little bit more. You know, Seth McLaughlin obviously came in. He was the transfer portal center from Alabama. You know, again, extremely smart guy. Graduated from Alabama 4.0 in 2.5 years. Has his master's degree, and now coming here, I don't know, maybe working on a PhD or something. But smart kid, tough kid. Plays with a little chip on his shoulder, kind of like a Jacoby Bourne type play when he was in 2014. Just a tough kid, and I think he added something to that offensive line. And the more reps you get as a unit, the left guard, left tackle, the right guard, left tackle, and then the two guards in the centers. They got, kind of speak. An old line coach, Joe Bugus, say they got to form a marriage. You know what I mean? You got to understand. They can have a look at you. They don't even have to talk. It doesn't have to be verbal. You just understand that you're all on the same page. So you got to develop that. You can have that go throughout spring, but then, going through camp and then going through against our defensive tackles, Tyleik Williams, Ty Hamilton inside. Those are some tough matchups. I think they, got better as camp gone. The first scrimmage, I thought the offense did very well. The second scrimmage, I thought the defense did very well. So we can find out today how cohesive they are on that offensive line.
Hey, Jim, Andy Katzenmoyer here. How you doing?
Good, Andy. Good to see you back, or have you back.
Yeah, same with you. So I'm excited to see what Chip Kelly has to bring to the Ohio State offense. I've watched him for years. Coming out of college and then going to pros and back to college. What wrinkles do you see Chip Kelly adding into this Ohio State offensive scheme in the coming year?
Well, again, Chip is a very accomplished, coach and a very accomplished head coach. He's been a coach for 33 years. 29 of that he's been a head coach, so he understands what he needs to do. And, I think it's a little bit different. Oregon, they were kind of more of a misdirection type running game where they would have a lot of different motions, a lot of different movements. I mean, there was times in that 2010 Rose Bowl where they had the whole offensive line turn and run towards the sidelines, and then they, ran a play underneath it. Yep. They didn't really block anybody, but, he kind of took advantage of his personnel, did what he thought that they did best. And I think here at Ohio State, and again, watching them at UCLA, the zone reads, things like that, a little bit more downhill, using the tight end blocking-wise. I thought he was able to develop that. Now here at Ohio State, I think what he's going to add to it is he's got two great backs. And, that's the quickest way to wear down a defense is continue to have your offensive line fire off and run the ball at him. And I think Chip knows, too, that the mentality of that offensive line, hey, we like to run block every play. Pass blocking's fun, but run blocking you can get after guys a little bit and then wear out that defense. And if you're having success running that football, you can get that safety in the box and then kind of open up that passing game a little bit, for Ohio State and get some one-on-one, coverage against, Jeremiah Smith, Emeka Egbuka, and Carnell Tate. So, I think, first of all, with the backs that he has, I would major in running the football, especially early on. Pick up some first downs, get them on their heels a little bit, and then go over the top with them. But I think he adds a lot, to it with his experience. Let's face it, Ryan Day wouldn't give the keys over this offense just to anybody. He was a primary play caller for the last 5 years. Obviously, he did that underneath Urban Meyer. This is the first time that he's felt comfortable giving up those keys. And, obviously it had to go to a guy that's very well qualified. And, Chip certainly fits that bill.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to say, I asked Ryan the other day if he's having, instead of buyer's remorse, hirer's remorse, a couple 3 days before the season when you're not going to be calling the plays. I mean, that's got to be it's a little bit, take a little time for him to get used to that, I do believe. But like you said, in essence, his uncle Chip is the guy in charge now and stuff. And like where I think Chip Kelly has excelled, Jim, I don't know if you agree or not, is just taking whatever he's got offensively, weapons-wise, and maximizing it, exploiting it. Like when the last time Ohio State played a Chip Kelly run offense, it was what in the Rose Bowl after the 2009 season, and his power back was really his quarterback, Jeremiah Masoli. And you know what I mean? You just take now he's got a full complement from a weapon standpoint, right? And I just get the sense that he really, and Ryan Day has mandated this, they want to run the ball with authority. The line is with their hair on fire, and I think Chip Kelly has been demanding that in camp. What's your take on that?
No, I agree with you. Again, it sets up so many things when you have the ability to run the ball. And, you can certainly do play action off of it. And, I think that's, too, what he complements so well is that, he'll have some running plays, but he'll have some running plays that, run pass, so to speak, that look like a run play, and then all of a sudden, boom, it turns into a pass, and you can get those linebackers, you can get that safety to cheat a little bit to get involved in that run and have the ability for your receivers to run by him and make some plays. So, and then let's not forget, the running quarterback. We haven't had a running quarterback here in a while, and the ability of Will Howard to run the football, Devin Brown, Lincoln Keenholz, Julian Sayin, Aaron Nolan, whoever you want to put back there, all those guys are capable of running the football, and that's something we haven't really had, here at Ohio State. Kyle McCord could run the ball, but we knew that he wasn't going to, do it and, major in that, so to speak. But that, puts the defense on edge a little bit, because now all of a sudden, instead of, going against 10 guys defending, you got that 11th guy, and, you get manned up, the extra guy, so to speak, and he's going to have to make those reads quick. Another thing different with this offense this year is that they're going to huddle. They're going to get back in the huddle, and it's nothing new. I mean, certainly the huddle's been around for a long time, but since Urban Meyer's been here, it was always tempo. Get up there, try to run fast, get the signals from the play, and then, certainly the team started figuring out the signals, so to speak, and it made it a little bit tougher. Now with communications in the helmet, he can talk to the quarterback, the guys can get in the huddle, and then he can go up there with either a check with me or a run-pass option, depending on what he's going to have to do. So I think it gives him, a guy that's played a lot of football, some experience to go out there and get the Ohio State offense in the best position possible to go out there and run the football and make some plays.
Jim Lachey with us, the former All-American. He'll be on the call today on The Fan with Paul Keels. Let me ask you about, it was funny, on your show this week, you got Ryan Day to guarantee a kickoff or a punt return, so that was fun. When's that coming, Jimmy?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's been a day, or so to speak. 2010 for the last kickoff return, 2014 for the last punt return. So really, the law of averages start to work your favor. You know what I mean? Sooner or later, you got to be able to break one. And I think having the assistant coaches each having a role in each different special team is obviously a big thing.
Yeah, and another reason, he's much more involved. He's much more involved with special teams than ever before Ryan Day is. So, he's kind of thumping his own chest there.
Exactly, and you kind of take a little bit more ownership. It's one thing when you have a special teams coordinator, meeting with you and all this stuff, but when you got your, one of the position coaches and, say it's James Laurinaitis and you're a linebacker, well, you better work hard on special teams if you want to see any playing time at linebacker. If you're, Brian Hartline, if you want to, play wide receiver, you better do some good things, on those special teams. So I think there's a little bit more of a buy-in factor the way they have it set up right now, and with that buy-in factor, hopefully you can get some big plays. So
we only got
it's been a long time.
Yeah, we only got a couple seconds left, but what do you expect from Tegra Shabola today? It looks like he's finally risen to the fore at right guard. What's your take real quick, Jim?
Well, as they say, man, he passes that eyeball test. He's 6'6", 327. He's got long arms. He's strong. He's powerful. Now he's got to learn to bend the knees and use those hands and use those, uncoil, so to speak. It's one thing to be tall, but if you can't get low, bend down, and get after people, then it doesn't really matter. So, I think that's going to be important for him to go out there and have a good game because there's competition behind him.
It's a certain receiver for Iowa who already has a catch today. We'll let you get back to that broadcast as well, my man. And good luck.
Missed a touchdown. Well, he didn't miss it. It was underthrown. But,
good luck to Luke.
It closely.
And have a great call today. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, that is Jim Lachey. His segment sponsored by Schmidt's Sausage House. Why tailgate when you can Schmidtgate? When we come back, the expanded playoff. You guys alluded to it. Harder, easier, the same to win it all for Ohio State. We'll discuss next right here on The Fan.
Fan traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
Looks like Columbus police are doing a little traffic control on those off-ramps from 315 northbound specifically right now to Lane Avenue. They're restricting traffic. Don't worry, if you needed to get off there, just keep going north to Akron, and that'll get you back where you need to be. On the surface streets, we are definitely seeing the increase in volume. A lot of people looking for parking right now. Lane Avenue is slow between Olentangy and High Street. Olentangy River Road has a bit of a backup as well between Kinnear and Ackerman. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
It's Toyota's national sales event with more all-wheel drive choices than anyone else, including Toyota's lineup of go-anywhere, do-anything trucks, like the powerful new Tundra. Now through September 3rd, you can get a new Tundra with low-rate financing, special leases, or customer cash up to $2,000, depending on model. And the 2024 Tacoma is now arriving at your Toyota dealer with dominating power, legendary capability, and captivating style. Get details at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Taking out the trash. That's what we're all about at Bourne Brothers Waste Services. This is Justin Bourne,
Zach Bourne, and Jacoby Bourne, former Ohio State football players.
We are your company for all of your trash and recycling needs.
Providing services that include front-load containers, mini and large roll-offs, and compactors. Contact us today for the best service in town. Bourne Brothers.
Bourne Brothers.
The real local trash company.
Taking out the trash.
Atlas Butler is built to keep you comfortable, and our plumbing services are no exception. You can rely on Atlas Butler for trusted, convenient plumbing and drain service. Our expert plumbers and drain specialists can take care of anything, from a broken water heater to a clogged drain. Call today, get it fixed today. That's our pledge to you.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Kurgis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys. We've helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Kurgis & Associates. Attorneys who care.
Look what we have here. It's the refreshing deliciousness of a Pepsi mini can. It's the perfect complement to any meal. The dash of indulgence your day was dreaming of. The sip that'll have you singing Pepsi.
Nope, not again, Steve. Let's take a cue from the Pepsi mini can and pack all that awesomeness you're feeling into a much smaller treat for everyone. Deal?
So, big awesomeness, smaller size. I think I've got just the thing.
Pepsi mini can. Mini can, big taste.
At Byers Auto, we've been football fans since 1897, back when tailgates had actual tails. Our legacy of supporting our local team is as strong as our commitment to providing exceptional vehicles. While we're known for our new cars, we also offer a variety of pre-owned vehicles that meet our rigorous standards. Our friendly staff is here to help you find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and budget. Visit us in person or shop online at buyersauto.com. Come see why it's better to buy at Byers.
Ready to be the change and have a positive impact on your community? Consider joining the Columbus Division of Police. Starting pay is $70,000 plus, growing to 6 figures after 4 years of service. We offer paid vacations, paid holidays, and health insurance. Do you aspire to complete your degree? We offer 100% tuition reimbursement after you complete your first year of service. Contact the CPD recruiting unit at jobs@columbuspolice.org or apply online at columbus.gov/government/jobs. The City of Columbus is an equal opportunity employer.
Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. Growing up in the family business, I've seen firsthand the joy and love that comes with finding the perfect engagement ring. For over 77 years, our family's been dedicated to providing the best quality, unmatched selection, and the guaranteed best price. From timeless classics to custom designs, we have the perfect ring for every love story. Let our family help you celebrate the moments that mean the most. Visit Diamond Cellar today on Sawmill Road or at Easton Town Center.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
Brought to you by Valley Ford of Columbus.
Good afternoon. I'm Buddy Wells. We have several ranked teams and Big Ten teams in action right now. Let's run through the scores here. In Atlanta, number 1 Georgia just took a 3-0 lead over number 14 Clemson. In Morgantown, number 8 Penn State leads West Virginia 6-0. Number 25 Iowa leads Illinois State 3-0 at home. Maryland is up 14-0 at home against UConn, and Purdue is all over Indiana State 21-0 in the second quarter. All those games are in the second quarter actually there. Of course, second-ranked Ohio State faces Akron today. Kickoff at the Horseshoe is at 3:30. A couple other big games later on today at 3:30 as well. Number 19 Miami will face Florida in Gainesville, and at 7:30 tonight, number 7 Notre Dame takes on number 20 Texas A&M in College Station. This update is sponsored by Valley Ford of Columbus, Central Ohio's F-150 truck headquarters, and the official dealership of wide receiver Carnell Tate. Breaking sports news when it happens right here on The Fan.
Hello, I like football. I have nothing clever to say. This is the Kurgis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Kurgis and Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT.
Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Welcome back, Buckeye Nation. Lining up for the best damn band in the land. Whole new show this year with the fella staying downtown. I guess busted him into the Skull Session. No dramatic tunnel walk from the Blackwell over to St. John Arena, but they are a team. They're going sweats, comfy sweats this year. Everyone's going to look the same, feel the same. And then it's business as usual. No?
James Peoples isn't going to look like Tegra Shabola. I mean, let's don't go nuts here.
Well, yes. Look, as far as uniform.
Similar, not same.
Yes, yeah.
You're correct. We could all have fan shirts on right now, but Andy and I would look a tad different.
Right.
The CFP looks a tad different. And they've expanded this thing. You know it by now. It'll include the 5 highest-ranked conference champions. They'll get the auto bids. The top 4 will get buys. The committee will determine that. And then the 7 highest-ranked teams remaining will round out the top 12. They're not going to reseed this thing. It'll be very much March Madness-like, 5 versus 12, 6-11, 7, 10, and 8 versus 9. So how that feeds into the 4 and the 3 and the 2 and the 1 will make a difference. But you'll play them as they line up. Listen, I think the fact that a big boy can get a get-out-of-jail-free card if they slip up. Some years you lose a big game and you're on the outside looking in, or you're not in your conference championship game, and then you've got to do it all based on your regular season resume. You don't have that extra data point. Sometimes the data point helps, sometimes it hurts.
Right.
But, I gave out that question before we came back, easier, harder, or the same to win a national title. Yes, technically you'd have to win a different amount of games if you didn't get that bye. But, boy, when you're a big boy and you could have 2 losses and still wreck this tournament, I feel like maybe it's the same or maybe even a tad easier, but I think I'm in the minority on that. Where are you?
I wouldn't say it's easier. Mm-mm. I would say it gives great teams an opportunity, a better opportunity if they do have a slip-up, period. Yes. But you still have to be playing great at the end of the year and then into the playoffs, period. It doesn't matter how good you are. So I'm not saying Ohio State could lose to Akron, but you could have Florida State potentially, who lost last week to Georgia Tech, rally, win out, and then make their run. And so, in my years, if you lost, Florida State would be done for the year. Period. Yeah. Like they're out of the equation now for national championship, which to me is, if they're good, let the season play out and let them show that in this playoff format.
Yeah, it was like you guys in '98, that loss to Michigan State, but bottom line, y'all are still one of the top 2 teams in the country.
Right.
Y'all still should have made the BCS championship game, but it didn't work out that way because of the formulas, et cetera. But it does allow you a slip. There's no debate this is a tougher path to a national championship when you have to, no matter who you are, you have to win a minimum of 4 postseason games to win the national championship. Because if you're a conference champion, that means you've won your conference championship game, at least to this point. In college football history, everybody's playing a conference championship game, and then you're going to have to win 3 games.
But you don't have to win your conference championship.
No, but if you don't win your conference championship, then you can still be in, but then you're going to have to play 4 games after that. So it's a tougher road no matter how you size it up from a roster management, roster health standpoint, because everybody's saying, well, the NFL does. I go, the NFL has a waiver wire, they have practice squads, they have all this other kind of stuff where they can come up with a player like the Browns. How many guys did they play at right tackle last year, for example?
Yeah,
you can't do that in college football. So the bottom line is you're going to have to stay healthy. You need a deep roster to begin with, but it's
you have to have some luck, of course.
Bingo,
yeah.
Always luck, absolutely luck.
Right.
And so that's what's interesting about this. But I'm really going to be curious to look back, because I wanted them to go to 8 teams, not 12. 12 makes no sense to me. Either 8 or 16 made sense to me, because then everybody faced the same jeopardy in terms of the playoff. You will play so many games to win the national championship, no matter how you got there. So that's where I stand on it.
Well, it'll be big with that. The controversy will be 4 versus 5. The team that doesn't get the bye,
correct.
The team that does.
Right.
That's pretty massive, and the committee will still figure that out. But yeah,
but the point is, if like we talked about earlier, if you're Oregon and Ohio State and as projected play in the Big Ten championship game, you're almost better not having played. If you lose the Big Ten championship game, you're better not having played in it. You're better being sitting out there, and I didn't make but I'm still in the college football playoff.
Or if you're the third team in the Big Ten and you don't play in the championship,
right?
But you're perceived to be one of the best, top 12 teams in the country,
or SEC,
right? And well, they'll get an extra week by because they're not playing in that.
Well, that's the risk. That's the gamble of playing and winning, and how much that could do for you and move you up into that bracket.
My point is that didn't need to be there, though, is my point. I mean, just go with the top 16 or top 8 and play football.
But it's also a very cool wrinkle, to get the opportunity for Ohio State to play someone. I don't want them to be in the bottom, whatever. But if they got a home game in December, that'd be cool.
But I'm telling you, we'll have that discussion some other time. I'm telling you, if I'm Ohio State, when Gene Smith said it, everybody booed. I want to play in good conditions. I don't want it to be we're wearing parkas and overcoats and it's snowing. If I'm Ohio State, I don't want that to be the case. I want to be able to put my best team out there on the best field possible and play that first round game.
You can't have it both ways. You can't have this, let's bring the Southern teams up here and show them what it's like in January, and then say, well, wait a minute, we're going to take you indoors because we're fast and talented.
Hey, I covered the Cleveland Browns when they played the Raiders back in, where was that, 1980 or 81, and the coldest game at that point in NFL history.
You mean the Bengals?
No, the Raiders.
Oh.
The Browns and the Raiders. Red right 88, Brian Sight gets intercepted near the end of the game, and the Browns, who are in their element, get beat.
Yeah. Well, the Bengals also played in that Freezer Bowl against San Diego.
Yeah, I covered that one too.
Turned them into icicles too. So
that was stupid to play that game.
There's an identity to certain teams. You either lean into it, and then there's the acclimation of it. I mean, look what happened. Look at what's happened with the Miami Dolphins in the playoffs, having to go and play that game in Kansas. They look like nothing of what they are in South Florida, obviously.
Correct.
So it just depends maybe on how you're built and the identity of your team. But, sacrificing a game in that building, a playoff game, it would be odd to say the least. But I agree with you, it wouldn't make them any less or more beatable.
Yeah.
Because their fans are going to travel anyway, to whether it's Indianapolis or wherever they have to go. But the other part about this is the expanded playoff, and maybe this is where I lean on the talent, is that the last team you want to see circling back at you with 2 losses is maybe the most talented team with maybe people thought their season was over.
Yeah.
Like, the biggest of the talent now will still be in this thing. I think the interesting thing about it will be, as we go through this expanded playoff, will be what's the cutoff for certain first-round NFL guys now who were easily able to bail out of a Rose Bowl, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, because it didn't have any impact. What if you go into a season where Ohio State did have a loss or two, and they're the 8th seed or the 9th or the 10th, dare I say it? Then all of a sudden then you have to weigh I
didn't think about that.
Will you have less opt-outs or more?
I brought that up.
You would think less.
I brought that up when this the whole thing was projected. Down the road, I think you're going to see that. I really believe you're going to see that. Maybe not immediately, but
I would hope to see less, considering the circumstances. And I can understand if a guy opts out because they're playing in their mind, a meaningless bowl game. But if you're playing a playoff game, they should hopefully opt in.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to find out this year when it all plays out for the first time. Your kickoff forecast, sponsored by Byers Auto. Come see why it's better to buy from Byers, the best damn band in the land, marching through. Fans getting their shots, and right now, we're humid. The sun is back out. We're going to tap out here in mid-80s. There is a slight chance of isolated thunderstorms around game time, so keep your eye on the sky there. We'll come back and handicap the opener. It's a massive spread. Scotty Vegas will break it down next on the Kurgis & Associates Fan Tailgate Show right here on The Fan.
Fan traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
No major issues to report, just growing traffic volumes. 315 southbound has a bit of a backup right now on the ramp to Lane Avenue. Lane Avenue is very slow between Olentangy River Road and High Street. Closer to the stadium, you'll want to watch out for a lot of pedestrian traffic. Just about a half hour ago, they opened the doors at St. John for the Skull Session. They also opened Fan Fest on the St. John Arena lawn. Lots of folks out there getting ready for kickoff. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
We're dealing at Reichert Nissan. Hundreds of Nissans in stock, on the ground, and priced to sell fast. Low lease payments on brand new Reichert Nissan Sentras, only $219 a month. Now we're really dealing. With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car. Visit the Reichert Mega Mall off 270 and 33, or shop thousands of new and certified used at ReichertNissan.com.
Get the right car at Reichert.
We're dealing.
With approved credit, 2024 Sentra SV FWD 36-month lease with $3,000 due at signing. Offer ends 9/3/24.
Now you can ship the delicious flavors of Schmidt sausages to any tailgate around the country. Send a taste of Columbus tradition to your favorite fan base, wherever they may be. Just place your order, and Schmidt's will package up their famous sausages and sides ready for the grill on game day. Go to schmidthaus.com/shop and use coupon code TAILGATE and receive 15% off your purchased order. Why tailgate when you can Schmidtgate?
Looking for your next Subaru? At Byers Airport Subaru, we give you options from start to finish. Browse and shop entirely online from the comfort of your home at columbussubaru.com, or stop by and visit one of our friendly brand specialists just by the airport.
During the Subaru A Lot to Love event, you can get a 2025 Subaru Outback for 1.9% for up to 48 months.
Whether you prefer to click or come in, we've got you covered. Your journey starts at Byers Airport Subaru. Come see why it's better to buy at Byers.
Subject to credit approval. Financing offer term up to 48 months on 2025 Subaru Outback. Cannot be combined with any other incentive. See dealer for details. Offer ends 9/3/24.
Taking out the trash. That's what we're all about at Bourne Brothers Waste Services. This is Justin Bourne,
Zach Bourne, and Jacoby Bourne, former Ohio State football players.
We are your company for all of your trash and recycling needs.
Providing services that include front-load containers, mini and large roll-offs, and compactors. Contact us today for the best service in town. Bourne Brothers.
Bourne Brothers,
the real local trash company.
Taking out the trash.
Hi, here are some ways to listen to The Fan. You can download the Fan app, or listen at home on your smart speaker, or open up the iHeartRadio app, or hold your head out the window and hear Common Man scream. Happy listening from the Dopes at The Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony here from my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Rich is rolling out all of his new Hondas at 2.9% up to 60 months. Just not including the Civic Si and Civic Type R, but all the other awesome new Hondas, 2.9%. You love certified? He has the dream deal. 0.99% APR for 36 months on the 23s and 24s, Civics, HRVs, CRVs, pilots, and passports. When you think Honda, you have to visit Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Kurgis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys. We've helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Kurgis & Associates. Attorneys who care.
Hi, I'm Laura De Leon, president of Key Bank in Central Ohio. Here at Key, we believe in providing a helping hand in our community. While helping hands are wonderful, a helping bank is even better. That's a bank committed to solving people's financial needs, but it doesn't stop there. We advocate, we support, we listen, and we volunteer. That's a bank that is always ready to meet you in the moment. Key Bank opens doors.
KeyBank, member FDIC.
We're dealing at Reichert Ford. That means we got the car you need at the price you want. But don't take it from me. Hear it from
Buckeye running back, Travion Henderson.
Riker has what I'm looking for.
Defensive star, Jack
I grew
Sawyer.
up watching these guys on TV. My family's bought tons of cars for them.
with our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car.
$2,500 low price guarantee.
Thousands of vehicles are waiting. ReichertFord.com. Get the right car at Reichert. We're dealing.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Let's get a look here at that weather impact forecast today. 84 with a few showers. Partly cloudy tonight, low 67. Tomorrow going 88 for the high. Clouds in the morning, sun in the afternoon. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
It's game day on the Fan.
Sponsored by Reichert Ford.
Up early, stay late. Don't change the channel. You're home for the Buckeyes. The Fan. Rothman wakes up every morning next to a bottle of gin and says, "Today's a good day for a Buckeye victory." Well, today he happens to be right. You're listening to the Kurgis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Kurgis and Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT.
Your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan.
All right, we're back on campus, the Kurgis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show. Anthony Rothman, Andy Katzenmoyer, Tim May, the handicapper to the Stars, Scotty Vegas. Good to see you, my friend.
Oh, here we go again. Let's go, baby.
Here
Been
we
waiting
go.
for this for a long time.
Everybody's bankroll is full, hopefully, to start this season. We've already had a minor upset in college football with Florida State losing over there in Dublin. A lot of people may have thrown that in as a little money line, little added, and then they got cracked over the head. This Ohio State team, the spread has come down a hair. I mean, it started at 50.5. Now it's at 48.5. What do you make of that? Did that inch down a little bit?
Yeah, it's been very interesting. So when it initially came out, it was 50.5.
Yep.
It got bet down. It went down to 48.5, which, by the way, that's important because it passes a key number, right? So 49 is that key number. And you get it at 48.5, and you're pretty happy. But now it is back up to 49 right now as we speak. So the current total is 56. The line is 49.
The current total is 56, so that's even come down. And they're laying 48.5. So does that what does that tell you? That Akron's not going to score a touchdown today? How would you play the over-under on this?
So the implied score on the game is 52-3.
Yeah.
With that total and that line, that's kind of where Vegas has it at a 52-3 type game. Guys, I'd be surprised if Akron scores. Like if they score a touchdown, that would surprise me.
Every time
3 points on the board, maybe, but a touchdown?
Every time I pick a shutout, though, they get some kind of turnover or something, and they kick a field goal,
Right.
and that's the deal. But I'm curious. I mean, 50 points is a lot of points, no matter who you're playing.
It
correct?
is, but Akron is also projected 11th out of 12 in the MAC.
I know,
right? So to me, it feels like I'd be very comfortable giving the points.
And by the way, I projected earlier this week on Letterman Row for Ohio State to cover. So
yeah,
that's where I stand.
Well, by the way, 75% of the bets, I heard from my guy at the casino, he said 75% of the bets are on Ohio State. So you can tell that the money is coming in on Ohio State.
And that's part of also betting on the team you want to see win.
Absolutely.
And you don't want to have your money somewhere your heart isn't. That's a very difficult bet, especially here in Columbus, Ohio. I know you and I talk about the mental hedge part of it, but not today. Not against Akron, not the opener. Tim's right. They only eclipsed 50 one time last year with the offense that they had.
That was last year.
That's why they got a new starting quarterback.
Yeah, but as far as the accidental points today, those are the ones that are tough to predict. Ryan Day keeps talking about depth. I can't imagine he's putting in Devin Brown and Julian Sain to hand off and milk the clock. He's not doing that. Now, I say that knowing that he doesn't want to embarrass an in-state school either, but sometimes you do that accidentally.
Yeah.
Well, but it was Joe Moorhead who ran those 3 plays against them, as I alluded to earlier, when he was at Oregon, and they scored 3 touchdowns easily with a basic play. So who knows where the embarrassment factor comes in.
Well, and for people in Ohio, again, who just mainly bet football, didn't pay a ton of attention to college basketball and the NCAA tournament, this is the first year, this is the first time that people will not be able to do college player props.
Correct.
Right? And so we had a lot of fun with that last year. That was a fun bet. Score the first touchdown, anytime touchdown, yardage, all that stuff. That's gone away, so some sports books are coming up with different ways that you can do parlays. One of the ones that I've seen that I like for today is Ohio State to score first in the game, to win the first quarter by 14 or more points, and for the first score of the game to be a touchdown. Okay, all relatively.
I like that. Those are yeah.
Yes, and you're getting plus money on that.
Yeah.
So you're getting more than 1-to-1.
Yeah, and consider my hot take was Ohio State's going to score the first 4 times they get the ball today. That plays right into my situation, even though I don't gamble.
Yeah, I mean, listen, a slow start, first game of the year, you could. I guess you could buy into that a little bit, that maybe a series wouldn't go perfectly and they would punt the ball away, but it's unlikely. I don't know how you protect and defend the whole field against Ohio State today. Andy was talking about this earlier, that a simple handoff can go for a touchdown. You never know. But if you are playing that first quarter, that's where the diciness comes from. So you're saying you think they'll score, you say 14 or more?
Yeah, it's over under 13.5. I'll tell you, I got to tell you guys about one of my favorite off-season bets, though. It has been to do a playoff parlay. It is to make the playoff, and it is fantastic. You can line up 6-7 teams to make it, and then parlay them together and get really good odds. So let me throw this one out at you guys. All right, we know it's a 12-team playoff this year. So I'm taking 7 teams to make the playoff. All 7 have to make it, and I'm getting 26-1 odds on this. All right, Ohio State, Georgia, Oregon, Texas, top 4 teams just have to make it. They don't have to win the conference. They just have to make the playoff. And then Bama, Penn State, and Miami. Okay? You throw those 7 to make the playoff, 26-1 odds. I think it's one of my favorite things over the last few weeks is to sit on the John and come up with these to make the playoff parlays. It's a blast.
Those are great ideas.
Hold on. I'd say this. I love that parlay.
Yeah.
I would sub out Miami, include Utah.
Okay, yep. Utah is definitely one of those teams that you feel like in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Great chance they win.
Yeah, I would sub out. And my little whatever pick this year, Cinderella pick, is Oklahoma State. So I would do, but
8-1 to make the playoffs.
But Miami's the one that drives it to 26-1. What drives it there?
They're 2-1. So
Yeah.
yes, they significantly move it. You take Miami out, and you just took the 6 teams the other 6 I mentioned, you're probably looking about 10 or 11-1.
Yeah.
But Miami, that ACC.
That's kind of like playing Keno, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the ACC, to me, is so crazy because you saw what happened to Florida State last week. We saw NC State not look good at all yesterday.
Yep.
And Clemson has a really, really tough schedule. So with Miami, I like the talent that they're a team that's built up the talent, paid for a lot of guys. So I like Miami out of the ACC.
Yeah, no, I like the bet. I think the interesting part of that to me is, even though you're going to get 12 teams in here, nobody with 3 L's is getting in this thing. I just don't see that would be it. And now Bama's schedule, that gauntlet that they have, if they lose to Georgia, there's 1 L. And if they play at Tennessee, at Missouri, at LSU in that gauntlet that they have back to back to back, and then they got to go to Oklahoma at the end of this year. If somehow Kalen DeBoer has 3 losses, that'd be the one. Now, they win every tiebreaker in the world with 2 losses. They're getting in. They're Bama. But that third you got to avoid.
You know the crazy thing, though, is a 3-loss team could actually be the 4 seed in the playoff because you could lose 3 games. Maybe you'll lose 2 non-conference and you lose 1 conference. You win your conference like a Utah. Like, it wouldn't be shocking if Utah is 10-3, wins the Big 12, and is
they're losing
the
2 non-conference?
1 or 2, it wouldn't surprise me if a 3-loss team makes it.
Okay.
I agree.
It's a wide open situation.
It is.
You never know.
Right.
You've got to make your conference championship game, and that's what he's alluding to here. So you could have a lot of things go awry and still be there and be the luckiest kid on the block.
By the way, that's my example of how engaged is a 3-loss behemoth, like a brand like Alabama. And where are those guys sit on opting in, opting out? They're a 12 seed, 11 seed. Can they really win it all? And by the way, they'd also fit in that category of maybe the last team you want to see is a really talented 3-loss team.
Right. Hey, what is the deepest long shot that you've got your eye on that could win the college football playoff championship?
That could actually win the playoff?
Yeah.
See, I only think there's 4 teams that can. Like, there's I think long shot value in teams to make the playoff. As you mentioned, I like Oklahoma State. That's kind of a sleeper team, that 8-1 to make it. But to win it all,
is there action there to get to the semifinals? I mean, where's the real action going?
No, you can't really do that. I think the action is parlaying teams just to make the playoff. That's where you're getting good value. You know, Anthony and I were talking about this, and yeah, that's not even that great a value.
Yeah.
You're just talking about plus 150 to make the playoff, and that conference.
No,
is
I was
so
talking
tough.
about to win it all.
Oh, to win it all. No, I don't like that.
Yeah,
I don't like. I would be shocked if it's not Ohio State, Georgia, Texas, or Oregon.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'd be shocked if it's on. You know, on your show last week, you and I were talking about this. What was the percentage chance we thought Ohio State wins the national championship this year? I said 35%. You said 50%. Right. I'm curious what you guys.
I think 50%. I think just like 50, you pointed out, we talked about that at the beginning of the show. You got 4 teams that appear to be right at this moment equipped to make a run in the playoffs and to win it, and you just named them, in my opinion. So I think 50%. See, that means they get to the semifinals and win it.
Just think with this roster.
Depends on matchup. I would say I'm going to go lower.
Yeah, so lower than a coin flip.
I'm going to say 25%.
See, and that's what the odds would say. So Ohio State being 4-1 to win the national championship.
So
means
there you go.
There are implied odds that Ohio State has a 20% chance to win it all.
Go take a poll out here and see if you get 25%.
I think if you get to the game, you've got a 50% chance. That's what I believe.
My percentage is solely based on they haven't played it down this year.
Right.
You have to see injuries, to see how the team's going to mesh. You have to see other teams, how they mesh, their injuries, that kind of stuff.
And we've never seen a 12-team playoff.
Yeah. Right.
Correct. How's it really going to work?
The last I checked, though, the phrase "time will tell" sucks on radio. It's a horrible.
Bo Bishop, I'm always giving him grief about hypotheticals, man. He's always putting you in a corner, and then he holds you to it.
Then that's
5 months later.
That's the tough part.
Yeah.
Scotty, thank you very much, my man.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate laying it out for the opener for Ohio State and Akron today. We'll come back with our keys to the game. Game day coverage sponsored by Reichert Ford on the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Fan traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
Traffic is building up on 315 northbound. You're going to see brake lights start around the 670 merge. Once you get past the Ackerman exit, things ease up quite a bit. On the southbound side, sort of the same story. The brake lights are starting around the hospital curve. Both of the off-ramps, the Lane Avenue and the Ackerman Road exits for 315 are pretty backed up as well. Also, Olentangy River Road is very crowded right now between Kinnear and Ackerman. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
It's Toyota's National Sales Event, the perfect time to extend your summer fun in the all-new, all-hybrid Camry. Now through September 3rd, choose 5.25 APR financing on any new 2025 Camry. Or you can lease a Camry LE for $319 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Integrity, honesty, and quality. Words we live by here at Monogram Homes. Hi, this is Dina. And at Monogram Homes, we strive to bring your wants to your man cave, your needs to your kitchen, and your ideas to life. Most home builders claim to be custom, but starting with stock floor plans and templates isn't our idea of a tailored experience. At Monogram Homes, we start with a blank slate and work with you until you get exactly what you want. So start your true custom home journey today with a builder you can trust. Monogram Homes. Visit us online at monogramhomes.net.
They're trained. They're prepared. Let's do it. They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Innovation is at the heart of every Polestar car, and their electric SUV, Polestar 3, is no different. From the intuitive infotainment system to its head-turning design, Polestar 3 is for drivers unwilling to compromise. That means merging a spacious, luxurious interior with the torque and handling of a sports car, Visit Polestar Columbus today for competitive lease offers and book a test drive for Polestar 3 at polestarcolumbus.com.
Rise and shine, jabronis.
What a show this morning.
There's only one place where Buckeye legends lay the smackdown. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekday mornings starting at 6.
Give me a juice box,
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Taking out the trash. That's what we're all about at Bourne Brothers Waste Services. This is Justin Bourne,
Zach Bourne, and Jacoby Bourne, former Ohio State football players.
We are your company for all of your trash and recycling needs.
Providing services that include front-load containers, mini and large roll-offs, and compactors. Contact us today for the best service in town. Bourne Brothers.
Bourne Brothers,
the real local trash company.
Taking out the trash.
You want a sub freshly sliced to order? You go to Jersey Mike's. You want the perfect radio idea? You go to me. Like this. I'm a lone ninja warrior. By night, I glide unseen across the rooftops, watching my enemies from the shadows. By day, I go to Jersey Mike's, watching someone freshly slice my sub. My blade is called Shadow. His blade is a Berserker brand meat slicer. Clearly, I have much to learn about this land. Freshly sliced just for you. Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Kemba Financial Credit Union pays you to save. Get a $300 bonus with a new money market account and earn a premium interest rate on your money. It adds up to big-time savings for your goals and dreams. Visit Kemba.org to check our rates and learn more. Restrictions apply. Bonus requires Advantage status and $10,000 minimum balance be deposited in the first 30 days and maintained to qualify for a $100 bonus at 90 days and $200 at 180 days after opening. Federally insured by NCUA. Offer ends September 30th.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for my crew at Valley Ford of Columbus. Looking for a back-to-school ride for your kid? A quality used truck for work? Well, Valley makes pre-owned vehicle shopping easy with certified pre-owned Ford Blue Advantage cars, trucks, and SUVs. All of them feature a minimum 139-point inspection, and they're backed by a 14-day or 1,000-mile money-back guarantee. Get the peace of mind with a pre-owned Ford from Valley. Great selection, great people. Keep on trucking at Valley Ford of Columbus.
Return in 14 days or 1,000 miles, whichever comes first. From original sales date and mileage on bill of sale and returned in same condition as sold. See Valley for all details.
This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
Brought to you by Valley Ford of Columbus.
Good afternoon. I'm Buddy Wells. Let's run through the top 25 and Big Ten scores in progress right now. In Atlanta, number 1 Georgia has taken a 6-0 lead into halftime against number 14 Clemson. In Morgantown, number 8 Penn State is up 13-3 over West Virginia late in the first half. In Knoxville, number 15 Tennessee is all over Chattanooga 24-0 late in the first quarter. Number 25 Iowa leads Illinois State 6-0 at halftime. Late in the first half, Maryland is up 20-0 against UConn, and Purdue leads Indiana State 21-0 at halftime. We're a couple hours away from second-ranked Ohio State kicking off against Akron. Network coverage will start right here on the Fan at the top of the hour. Also at 3:30, number 19 Miami will face Florida in Gainesville. This update is sponsored by Valley Ford of Columbus, Central Ohio's F-150 truck headquarters, and the official dealership of wide receiver Carnell Tate. Breaking sports news when it happens on the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
You're listening to the Kurgis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Kurgis and Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HEARD. That's 614-GOT-HEARD.
Every game, every season, your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. Today's keys to the game are sponsored by Toyota.
Brought to you by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers. Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
All right, welcome back in. Keys to the game. Listen, the keys to the game are fairly obvious here. Win the game, stay healthy, play as much depth as you can. Now, I do think Buckeye Nation is very curious to see Will Howard operate this offense, even if it is against Akron, because if you don't operate it smoothly against Akron, then you feel like, okay, yes, season isn't over. Obviously, everybody knows that, but it kind of would leave you a little bit hollow on, okay, didn't live up to expectations. So, Andy, what is realistic today, expectations? It seems like it's a name-your-score type of game. You're talking about a national title contender versus a team that, shouldn't be able to hang with you at all today, but the guys have to approach it in what way today? When you were going into games like this, completely overmatched, you knew it. What did you balance before the game on how you approached it?
I think success is being able to manage a game situation that's out of the coach's control, this is going to be that atmosphere because you're playing against Akron, who has their own agenda. hopefully you have all the incoming, new faces on the field, being able to communicate and execute at a high level, high capacity. And then I would love to see a bunch of points on the board, personally, and then just see a nice, solid amount of defense. No errors in the special teams. Just play a good, clean game.
How much does he have to see out of Will Howard today for him to be comfortable and say, okay, I can get Devin and Julian in? What is that dynamic?
You know what? I think the biggest knock last year was, after Notre Dame, I didn't really see a whole lot of progression in the quarterback position as far as improvement.
Just when you thought you would.
Right. When it's anticipated. So I hopefully Will Howard will go out and play a good game, good clean game. Take what the defense gives him, whether it be passing, running, hand the ball off, whatever, and then hopefully you see him work through progressions. And then, by the middle of the third quarter, you're able to put other guys in.
Yeah, and Ohio State's already announced, Cody Simon's not going to play today, and Donovan Jackson, right, left guard's not going to play today. So you're going to see like maybe an Austin Serveld or possibly Carson Hinsman, who started the spring game at right guard, the center who started every regular season game last year, possibly at that spot, and see where they go with that. And then Cody Simon, we were talking about it earlier, they've got guys to fill in there, Arvell Reese, or is it you run Sonny Styles down in there and put C.J. Hicks out on the wheel and some of these other guys. So that's going to be interesting. So right off the bat, you've got some experiments going on in this game, or at least some opportunities, let's put it that way. But I think what you're looking for Will Howard to go out there and run an efficient offense. Is he going to make mistakes? Absolutely. But the great thing about Will Howard is if he makes if he's hesitant on a read or something, he can put the ball under his arm and run. He will run. That's the best part about it. And then number two, I wanted to ask Andy this. You've been going against your teammates for 4 weeks now and one-on-one, sometimes ones against twos against ones. It's refreshing, I think, to go out there and go against somebody who sort of schemed against you.
Right.
And then number two, Ohio State is better on both sides of the line of scrimmage than Akron is. I don't think anybody's going to argue that point. Now go out and prove it. As Ryan Day said, go out there offensive line and play like your hair's on fire. That's what you want to see, I think, out of this team, no matter who you're playing. And that's what Ryan Day's been pushing at, man. They've had some hard practices for what qualifies as a hard practice in this modern age over the last several weeks. And I think just kind of turning it loose is what they're looking for.
No, absolutely. I think if you, as far as intensity, that it's on defense, guys running the ball, period.
Yeah.
Flying around, making plays, but you have 11 hats running the ball. Like the old style silver bullets. And then defense, offense, them finishing blocks, receivers making blocks down the field for running plays, or even when other guys get the ball. So that's going to be invaluable to see just the energy today when it comes to those kind of things.
So just describing the scene out here, so it does feel and look very similar to last year, except the guys are in their athletic gear, and they are making that walk, as they similarly have done, from the Blackwell over into the Skull Session. Headphones on, meeting the crowd, and the only thing that's different now is they're a lot more comfortable doing it.
Wouldn't it be funny if they're already taped up and ready to go, like Woody would have done back at the Rose Bowl and things like that? But this is a nice-looking team. As you watch them, this is a deep roster, and there are some. Forget about football players too. There's some quality individuals on this team, not the least of whom is Emeka Egbuka and Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimoloau, and Will Howard. There's just Travion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins is refreshing to talk to, for example, and this year has a good feel about it at this moment when it comes to Ohio State.
I was saying earlier on, Urban Meyer talked about the challenge of keeping guys happy in an overmatched non-conference, and I changed a word on him, and I would never do that to a national championship coach. But I said, get happy out of there and put in healthy. I don't want to hear anybody if all of a sudden guys are not happy, then that changes everything they've been preaching before the year, which is they all came 100%. Back, all for one for all. If this is about keeping guys happy, then the narrative changes on this team, and I don't think they want that to change. I think they've had a hell of an identity so far and what this season means to them, and now they got to go out there and prove it. And if Jeremiah Smith gets a highlight today, I will not be shocked.
I was going to ask Andy, man, you were a freshman once. I think you started your first game. Maybe I'm wrong, but the point is, what is going on in his head right now?
He's excited, doesn't know what to expect. You know, for me, everything was just moving so fast. Like it was a blur. Even when things slowed down on the field, everything else outside of that was a blur. Yeah.
Hopefully he'll let the, quote, game come to him. We'll see. When we come back, we'll do a final check-in with Paul Keels. Keys to the Game, sponsored by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers. Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. This is the Kurgis & Associates Fan Tailgate Show. Remember, they don't get paid unless you get paid right here on The Fan.
Fan Traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
It's a pretty busy time for that few-mile stretch of 315 from Lane Avenue to Ackerman Road right now, getting closer to kickoff, and a lot of people are trying to get to the same place. Not any big problems, just a lot of volume. You're going to find 315 pretty slow, like I said, as you approach the Ackerman Road and Lane Avenue exits, both north and southbound. And the stadium gates are open too now, so that means a lot more pedestrian traffic in that general area. Be really careful on those surface streets. With Game Day Traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
We're dealing at Reichert Nissan. Hundreds of Nissans in stock, on the ground, and priced to sell fast. Low lease payments on brand new Reichert Nissan Sentras, only $219 a month. Now we're really dealing. With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car. Visit the Reichert Mega Mall off 270 and 33, or shop thousands of new and certified used at ReichertNissan.com. We're dealing
with approved credit. 2024 Sentra SV FWD 36-month lease with $3,000 due at signing. Offer ends 9/3/24.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Kurgis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys. We've helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Kurgis & Associates. Attorneys who care.
Integrity, honesty, and quality. Words we live by here at Monogram Homes. Hi, this is Dina. And at Monogram Homes, we strive to bring your wants to your man cave, your needs to your kitchen, and your ideas to life. Most home builders claim to be custom, but starting with stock floor plans and templates isn't our idea of a tailored experience. At Monogram Homes, we start with a blank slate and work with you until you get exactly what you want. So start your true custom home journey today with a builder you can trust. Monogram Homes. Visit us online at monogramhomes.net.
Football season is here, and so is tailgating season. Are you ready? If not, let Columbus Car Audio and Accessories help you get the latest and best accessories for your ride. Upgrade your sound system so everyone around can hear what team you're rooting for. Add mobile video and never miss a game on the road. Add style and privacy with window tint, and avoid scraping ice this winter by adding a remote starter. Choose Columbus Car Audio and Accessories when it comes to customizing your ride. Morse Road near Easton, Main Street in Reynoldsburg, or ColumbusCarAudio.com.
Football season is here, and we have so much stuff. One station isn't enough. Find even more pigskin on ESPN Columbus.
Set your second preset to AM 1460 or 97.1 FM HD2, or listen on the Fan app.
It's your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman for the Bath Authority. It's time to make your bath and shower something you really love. Something so great, your singing in the shower comes from a genuine place of happiness. Don't keep staring at that outdated bath, the mold, the mildew, the broken tiles. Every unit from the Bath Authority is custom built. You choose the premium accents and accessories. Right now, get free installation on your new bath or shower, plus 36 months of 0% interest. Visit thebathauthority.com. That's thebathauthority.com. A better bath awaits.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Consider yourself a bourbon connoisseur? At Twin Peaks, we are proud to offer an exclusive and extensive collection of some incredibly rare bourbons, whiskeys, and tequilas. Plus, check out our barrel selects that are handpicked by our team and bottled just for you. Cheers!
Taking out the trash. That's what we're all about at Bourne Brothers Waste Services. This is Justin Bourne,
Zach Bourne, and Jacoby Bourne, former Ohio State football players.
We are your company for all of your trash and recycling needs.
Providing services that include front-load containers, mini and large roll-offs, and compactors. Contact us today for the best service in town. Bourne Brothers.
Bourne Brothers,
the real local trash company.
Taking out the trash.
It's time for huge summer savings at Honda Marysville.
Now get 2.9% APR for 60 months on any new 24 or 25 Honda. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. And don't forget our $39 oil change special, where we'll get you in and out in an hour, or it's on us.
It really is the perfect time to get to Honda Marysville, where great summer savings are closer than you think.
With approved credit, must finance 80% of MSRP, cannot combine offers, expires 9/3/24.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Are you ready for another Buckeye victory? Because we sure are. You're listening to the Kurgis & Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Kurgis & Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HEARD. That's 614-GOT-HEARD.
Your flagship home for Ohio State football. The Fan.
All right, final check-in here with our man Paul Keels. It's sponsored by Byers Imports. Byers Imports, Hamilton Road by the airport. All right, Paul, what's coming up on the show?
Well, Anthony, what's coming up is usual. We'll hear from both head coaches, Ryan Day from Ohio State and Akron's Joe Moorhead. Clay Hall, who's filling in for Matt Andrews, will talk with Ohio State linebacker Cody Simon, one of the captains to start the year. We'll hear from Ohio State's defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles, and the goals he has for the defense in 2024. Dave Skoczen, the radio play-by-play voice of the Akron Zips, will give us his 2 cents about the Akron program and where they are. We'll hear from Craig Way, the play-by-play voice of the Texas Longhorns, who next year, this time, will be here for the season opening game. And as always, we will have our award-winning, world-famous season-opening, 2-time Heisman Trophy-winning Diamond Grill Midnight at the Oasis Whoa Bundy version of Buckeye Flashback with Hall of Famer Skip Mossick. That's coming up shortly, Anthony.
Been looking forward to that. Thanks, Paul. Have a great
You're
call.
welcome.
All right. Young guys making a splash today in the Horseshoe. We just talked about it. You know, it'd be weird to kind of bypass, Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins, but James Peoples is going to get his carries today. And it feels like, there's home run ability there. I don't know if it comes in the second half or where it comes, but remember Devin Brown even had that great highlight to Brandon Ennis against Purdue in their one big hookup, 58 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah.
So those second-teamers, Timmy, they're waiting to get in there and get some highlights.
Yeah, I can't believe how little we've talked about Jeremiah Smith, for example, but there's so many things to talk about this team. But you're exactly right. I mean, even Brandon Ennis, man, he's champing at the bit to get in there. I mean, he's been banged up the last couple of years. I mean, there's a guy in the receiver core who's kind of forgotten about. And we haven't even mentioned the name Carnell Tate, who's one of the starting wide receivers, probably, depending on what they go out there in and stuff. There are a lot of guys that want to put their imprint on this team.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're loaded across the board. Lots of young talent, new faces, and it's really going to just be about how everyone meshes together.
But when you say James Peoples, man, think J.K. Dobbins just a little bit. They grew up within about 90 miles of each other, LaGrange, Texas, and San Antonio. Of course, James Peoples has been around the globe a little bit, but he has a little bit of a similar style there, and he has that breakaway, take it to the house type speed that you don't just coach that.
Right.
Well, the other thing, these non-conference games, and especially the opener, has always been reserved for the tight end, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, a tight end always gets a touchdown, and Kesmerick and G. Scott and even, Jelani Thurman, maybe he'll get some reps today, but there are a lot of mouths to feed, but I don't know if this is going to be tight end opener highlight we've become used to.
I think what you're going to see, Chip Kelly's going to – I believe Chip Kelly's going to throw a lot of things out there as opposed to, keep things under the vest, because he wants the next opponents, so the next 11 opponents going, we got to prepare for this, we got to prepare for that. But Chip Kelly is in my opinion, where his genius is really in creating space in the run game, but then also wanting his offensive line blockers, whatever you want to call them, coming downhill and knocking people off the ball. And, of course, Ryan Day has preached that since the Cotton Bowl, but that's what he wants to see from this offense. That's what will be different about this offense compared to the last several years. They want to have a consistent running game, not just a hit or miss, especially in the big games. You're not going to know about that now probably until the calendar turns to October. But he wants to see that for sure.
You know, I mentioned earlier in the show that maybe the secret sauce was, that offensive line got sick. That position room had some sickness. They were forced to play other guys. They were forced to get some depth in there. They got maybe a bigger picture look than they normally would have gotten out of that offensive line.
Yep.
Shabola, they make this choice. Everyone thinks it's the right choice on the right side. It's very athletic.
He's very big, too. I mean, I remember the late, great Ken Fritz standing next to me at a spring practice 2 years ago and going, who is number 77? And exclaiming, this is the guy, by the way, that helped pull Woody Hayes back onto the sidelines there in the Gator Bowl, but I digress. He's been impressive from the get-go once he got here, but now he's been showing the consistency and the fire they're looking for, and his motto is nobody cares, meaning nobody cares what kind of trail you've taken to get to this point, how hard it's been or whatever. They just want to see you go out and produce once you cross the line, and I think it's paid off for him.
Should look outstanding today. Everyone knows that. The expectation is there for Ohio State to annihilate Akron. Andy, what's more likely, you eclipse 50 points or you shut them out?
50 points. Shutouts are hard. Even, Akron's not great, but a shutout, especially if you get your 2s and 3s in there and young guys make mistakes and something funky happens.
A lot of teams like to avoid the shutout in any way they can.
Yeah, right. They'll kick a field goal on the final play of the game.
Right.
Absolutely. The interesting thing, Bobby Bowden, the late great head coach at Florida State, used to have a great line. And remember back to the Cotton Bowl, Ohio State was leading 3-0 at the half, even after the third quarter. And his big line, he would always tell his defense at halftime, if they had a lead, hey, look, they don't score, we win. You understand what I mean?
Right.
The Ohio State defense, the last couple of games, a couple of big games, they haven't really, as good as they've been, as good as they were last year, they didn't really finish it off. You know what I mean? And you against Michigan, they didn't get that stop when they really needed to get that stop. Michigan held the ball a little bit longer. So the challenge to the defense especially is finish this thing off. I mean, the offense isn't the only one that need a little bit of a reset. And I think with these veteran players, of course, they may not be in there in the fourth quarter like we're talking about, but I think these veteran players want to go out and set the tone defensively from the get-go. They're coming after the quarterback. They're coming after your offense.
Yeah, but this year is similar to me as far as my last year at Ohio State. When we were young the year before.
Yeah.
We had a bunch of guys, coming in, and there's a ton of hype.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of young, good talent that had also come in. They ended up being great players down the line, but we as established starters put pressure. If they got in games, the level of expectation for their performance was we set the bar. They didn't have to come in and play up to that.
It is believed that is what's going on with this team, but you still got to see it, right?
You still got to see it. Yep.
You don't want them to ruin it either, right? Starters get in there.
It makes you so mad. Like it could be the dumbest play, and you're like, bro, come on, man.
Jack Sawyer shaking his head the other day about the missed shutout opportunities. Was an example of that.
Yeah.
Because it does matter to them.
They may have the best safety duo in the country, the Ransom and Downs now. Can't wait to see that. And we could get back to a very opportunistic defense if this front can cause some problems.
Right.
And then you get guys reacting using their instincts, their athleticism, and all that.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see who has the dot on their helmet when the defense first goes out there. Caleb Downs has the ability, I think, to do that. I'm talking about the guy that gets the radio signals from Jim Knowles.
Yeah.
Or will it be Arvell Reese or whoever starts at middle linebacker?
All right, Timmy, give me a score, buddy.
I picked 69-3 at Letterman Row. I expect them to cover. I told Andy before, this reminds me of what I think was 96, Rice and Pitt. This has the same feel to it.
Has a feel to it. All right, Kat?
I'd say 57-0.
Woo!
Oh, so you're calling for the shutout. All right.
I'm going to
give it in-state school. I'll give it in-state school one highlight. So 53-7 is my call today. We'll see what happens. All right, my man. Great job today. The opener's in the books. Timmy, enjoy it, everybody. Buckeye Nation marching in. What an advantage that is this season. The hype begins. It becomes real here at 3:30. Enjoy the game, Buckeye Nation. For all our crew here, Bodie and Danny and Scotty and the whole group, thank you so much for your help. Enjoy Buckeye football right here on The Fan.
Fan Traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
Things are looking good despite some really heavy volumes. 315 north and southbound moving nicely. Those off-ramps to Ackerman and Lane Avenue still have the usual crowds. Off the highway, Lane Avenue very backed up from High Street all the way over to Olentangy River Road. Speaking of Olentangy River Road, it's pretty busy right now as well from King Avenue all the way up to Ackerman. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
1 in 3 student athletes gets disturbing messages from sports bettors. This threatens the safety and mental health of college athletes like Tyler.
I'm a student and an athlete. I don't deserve to be threatened over my play. If you're upset about your sports bet, don't take it out on me, because I'm more than a bet.
These threats are not acceptable. Stop harassing college athletes over a bet. Learn more at morethanabet.org.
Find savings to celebrate this Labor Day with one stop at Meijer. Pick up fresh from Meijer 80% lean ground beef family pack for $2.99 per pound, limit 5. And fresh from Meijer family pack boneless, skinless chicken breasts for $2.49 per pound. Get a large whole seedless watermelon for $3.99. Meijer chips 3 for $5. And buy 5, save $5 on some additional Labor Day must-haves. Get everything you need to celebrate the holiday and save. Exclusions apply. See all deals in-store or in the Meijer app.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for my crew at Valley Ford of Columbus. Looking for a back-to-school ride for your kid? A quality used truck for work? Well, Valley makes pre-owned vehicle shopping easy with certified pre-owned Ford Blue Advantage cars, trucks, and SUVs. All of them feature a minimum 139-point inspection, and they're backed by a 14-day or 1,000-mile money-back guarantee. Get the peace of mind with a pre-owned Ford from Valley. Great selection, great people. Keep on trucking at Valley Ford of Columbus.
Return in 14 days or 1,000 miles, whichever comes first. From original sales date and mileage on bill of sale and returned in same condition as sold. See Valley for all details.
Your car needs a new battery. That'll be $19,000.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a second opinion.
You wouldn't accept that quote, so why accept this one from that other company?
$19,000 for a new sewer line.
I'm going to call the waterworks instead.
Facing an expensive sewer repair? If another company's quote is way more than expected, call the Waterworks for a second opinion. We have the most experienced drain techs in Central Ohio. Call 614-232-2222.
Our nation's veterans put everything on the line to defend our nation. They're heroes. And when they need help, Congressman Mike Carey fights for them because he cares about America's veterans.
My name is Thomas Rand, and I put my life on the line serving our nation in Vietnam. But when I needed help with an outstanding disability claim, the VA wasn't there for me. But Congressman Mike Carey had my back. Because of his hard work, my claim was approved, and I got the help I needed. I'm thankful for Congressman Carey. He cares about our veterans.
Mike Carey will always fight to help our nation's heroes. If you're a veteran who needs help navigating government services, programs, and grants, call Congressman Mike Carey's office at 614-927-6902 or visit carey.house.gov. Paid for with official funds from the Office of Mike Carey.
Experience a piece of history this September and pay tribute to those that have served in the Vietnam War. Delaware County Veterans Services invites you to visit the Wall That Heals from September 12th through the 15th at Havner Park in Liberty Township. Witness the official 3/4 scale replica of the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C. The Wall That Heals is free and open to the public 24 hours a day until 2 p.m. on the 15th. For volunteering opportunities and to learn more, please visit thewallthathealsohio.com.
At Toyota's national sales event, you can choose from more hybrid and all-wheel drive vehicles than anyone else, including the best-selling RAV4. Now through September 3rd, choose 4.99 APR financing on a new 2024 RAV4 or RAV4 Hybrid with approved credit through TFS. Excludes RAV4 Prime, or you can get a great lease deal on RAV4. Plus, you get 2 years no-cost maintenance. Get details at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit LindsayHonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus, The Fan. From Learfield, this is the AEP Energy Buckeye Pregame Show. Brought to you statewide by AEP Energy and by Encova Insurance on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics. And brought to you locally by State Farm, your Central Ohio Toyota dealers, and by the Diamond Cellar. On your home of the Buckeyes, live and local weekdays beginning at 6 a.m. with Morning Juice on the Fan, Ohio's sports destination. Now, along with Matt Andrews, Skip Mossick, and Jim Lachey, here's the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels.
Today's broadcast is presented by Encova Insurance. Encova celebrates and congratulates Archie Griffin on the 50th anniversary of the first of his 2 Heisman trophies. And welcome to the season opener. Second-ranked Ohio State hosting Akron to kick off the 135th season of Ohio State college football here at the Horseshoe. Jim, we know that when every year starts, there's always anticipation, but it's at a legendary level for this year.
Yeah, it certainly is, Paul. And, more tickets sold, season tickets sold here this year than the last 15 years. 24 straight season opening victories for Ohio State. But it's the first game since that Cotton Bowl where this offense could only muster 3 points. So they added to it. They got a new quarterback coming in here.